Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the offseason report card. And I got in the chat, I got Sandy in the chat. I got Guermo in the chat. Tomorrow night, you can catch me on YouTube if you want to catch me on YouTube tomorrow night. I will be live with the entertainer on YouTube, on the entertainer's channel. So that should be pretty dope. We got a little show we're doing every Thursday night. So make sure you catch that. That should be pretty dope. The all-season report card, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about what the Knicks did. And did you like what the Knicks did this offseason? And what grades would you give them? But before we even get to that, let's introduce the guys we got in the video chat. And, we're going to keep rocking with it. We're going to go with it. All right, so we got Guermo, we got Sandy so far. I'm pretty sure a few more people will jump in, once they figure out where we are. Guermo, what's going on, man? What's popping with you? How's your week been so far? Okay. All right. Well. Yeah. I'll talk to him. I'll get to him. But what were you saying?
Curse for not going after the Katie's and Kyrie's, despite what's progressed with those two. Is like we're getting Fs, but again we're getting Fs from.
Oh, looks like Guermo froze up on us. Maybe Guermo's having some. So we'll get to Sandy. We'll get back to Guermo. Go ahead, Sandy. What was you saying now? What's going on?
Hey, Sim. So listen, I got an idea.
Okay.
It actually, I'll tell you what, you may want to look into this. It may be a good idea going forward if you want to be on be able to always stream everywhere. Maybe if you did something like this, it would make sense. If you look in the YouTube, if you look in the chat in Facebook, that's under my that's under my birth name, Walter. You'll see I just kicked in a link. I don't know if you know what IRC is. I used to do that back in the old school day. That's like a web link to an IRC server. So if someone clicks on that and then they just put in the channel Nothing But Knicks and they could join, we could do a chat in there if you wanted.
Okay. Yeah, well,
maybe not today because it's you're doing your show.
Yeah.
We're looking into if this shit continues,
Yeah, we'll figure it out. The reason why I'm using 3 different platforms, because I could have tried to push everyone to one platform. The reason why is because some people are familiar with Twitter, some are familiar with Facebook, some are familiar with Twitch. And then there are people who are, my age that may not be as familiar with Twitch. If people would like to go on over to Twitch, go over to Twitch. Twitch is a good place to go where everyone can be in the same chat. And it's real simple. Twitch.tv/nothing-but-Knicks. You can go over Twitch. Everyone can be in the same chat.
That sounds like exactly what I'm talking about then. So you already got it existing. So Twitch is the way to go then.
Well, I mean, basically right now I'm streaming to 3 different platforms. I'm streaming to Twitch, I'm streaming to Twitter, and I'm streaming to Facebook. But if everyone wants to be in the same chat so that people can talk to each other, then everyone can go over to Twitch is the easiest. But if not, stay where you are and we'll work it out just fine. You know what I mean?
Say it again and put a hot link it in the chats.
Yeah. There's already a link in the description. So if you go on, if you go on to YouTube, there's a link in the description. I did something I did a little live notification on YouTube, a premiered notification on YouTube. But we're gonna figure it all out. We're gonna get it going.
I'll be honest with you. I think going forward, that's the best thing for you. I think you should be streaming. I mean, you got to do what's best for you, but it makes sense to be streaming across all platforms.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice because YouTube lets everyone get together and all in one.
I'll tell you what, if YouTube's going to keep giving you hate like this, and you're guilty until proven innocent, which isn't the way it should work, they don't deserve your love.
Yeah, I feel you. But we're going to figure that out. we'll figure that out as time goes on. We'll keep moving. We'll keep going. Like I said,
so I'm sorry to change the subject. I just wanted to help you out.
Yeah. I got you. But, this is going to be streamed. See what happens on YouTube. I can't stream live, but I can do a premiere, which is almost like a live stream, but not exactly. So this will be aired tomorrow at 10 a.m. on YouTube. But, we'll continue to try to get the numbers here on Twitch, Facebook, and Periscope. But let's get talking New York Knicks, because what we're going to do tonight is really take a nice dive into the Knicks and what they've done this off season, and figure out just kind of give them some grades. I was looking at a couple of shows on TV, of course, ESPN and all that craziness, and some places, of course, they gave the Knicks a low grade, and I disagree with. Okay, they gave them a decent grade for the draft, but what they gave them for free agency, I disagree. And everything with free agency really has to do with, it's all context. It's all within the context of, did we get KD? Did we get Kyrie? It's all context, and it doesn't. Anyway, we're going to talk about.
What's funny is I don't know
discussions about it. You know what I'm saying? We're going to talk and have good discussions about it, and we'll give our own grades, and then we'll send those grades out so that everybody else can see those grades. You know what I mean? Because we can't depend on the national media to accurately and fairly report on the New York Knicks, so we've got to do it our way. And and we're gonna do it fairly. We're gonna be fair about it. That's the only way that we can really do it, and make sure that it's done fairly. Because the media is gonna laugh at the Knicks no matter what we did. We could have got KD and Kyrie, and we still would have gotten a bad grade, because that's how the media likes to do the New York Knicks. You understand what I'm saying? So we're gonna go ahead.
Absolutely.
And we're gonna do it the right way, right? So the first things first, we'll talk about the draft. We know what happened in the draft, and we know where we went with the draft, right? We drafted R.J. Barrett. All right. So we're gonna talk about that, and we'll give a grade for the draft. And what I have a little bit of a report card. Right, and I'm going to show you this report card. You guys can't see it in the video chat, but those who are watching on the multiple platforms can see it in the chat. All right. So I have an off-season report card, and the off-season report card is presented to you by SeatGeek. All you got to do is go to SeatGeek, put in NBK, use the code NBK, and you get 20% off of your first purchase. And that's not just to a basketball game. That's to any kind of sporting event, concert, whatever it is. If it's your first purchase on SeatGeek, just use the code NBK and you'll get 20% off. All right. So anything that you plan on doing this summer, go ahead and use that code NBK, man, and save yourself a little bit of money. All right. But anyways, you can see for our off-season report cards and the grades, we want to give some grades to the Knicks. Now, we have the draft. We're going to grade the draft. All right. We also have free agency. We're going to grade how the Knicks did in free agency. And then we have Summer League. And we're going to grade how the Knicks did in Summer League. And then we're going to put them all together and give the Knicks a final grade. There you go. That's how it is. That's how we're going to do it. All right. So we'll start off with talking about the draft and how you think the Knicks did with the draft. And, I'll get everybody's opinions, and we'll get some phone calls and things like that. And after I get everybody's opinion, then I'll tell you what I think, how we did in the draft. All right. So let me get back over here to the video chat, and I'll let Guillermo continue to, finish speaking, because Guillermo was speaking and then it cut off. I'll let Guillermo finish, and then we'll get going. Go ahead, Guillermo.
Yeah, my bad, man. That was on me. I had so many things running. What you say, I just echo what I try to say. Like, when we look at the Knicks, no one looks at us in context, right? It's like, oh, we didn't get KD and Kyrie, but it's like, a whole bunch of other teams didn't get KD and Kyrie, and with that whole injury, it threw everything in a loop. And the thing that really gets me pissed, Sim, is that everybody keeps saying, "Oh, they traded KP just for the cap space." It was like, no. They literally, KP did not want to be there. So you have a malcontent. And this is what I get mad about these guys, right? They're hypocrites, right? Especially Max Kellerman, who's an idiot. He'll sit there and say he's all about the man, helping out the brother man. And, they should have, he literally got on and said, it doesn't matter if these guys have a contract. They should have flexibility to go where they want and do whatever they please, right? But then when it came to KP, his solution was when Stephen A. Smith said, well, he didn't want to be there. So what are you going to do? You trade him and try to get assets. He was like, no, what I'll do is that he has a contract and I would keep pressuring him to stay and I'll keep speaking. It's like, dude, you're a hypocrite. You go from base to base. So a lot of these guys in the media, like I said, especially on ESPN, who are losing ratings, they need to do stupid, bombastic things that have no sense. That's why the only guy that makes sense when they talk about is Elamin Hassan, because even he was like, well, the Knicks, if you look at the Knicks, they have a young, exciting team. And within context, things changed with the injury, so they did the best they could. And I think they actually got good free agents. This is before we got Bullock. This is before we got Morris. This was basically like around that Monday after that Sunday of free agency. So, a lot of these guys, when they talk, they're done. Like, just, it's no point in listening because there's no context. They're literally bums. And they build up teams to bring him down. Like, I'm not trying to digress. I'll be really quick. Look what they're doing with Zion now. Everybody was hyping him up, and now the whole weight issue, once a few analysts said it, now they're all piling on. Like, they do that purposely to get ratings. So these guys really, there's no integrity. There's no real logic to what they're saying. It's just all bombastic garbage for the most part.
Yeah. Nah, I feel you. You're just not gonna get it out of the media. You're not gonna get it out of the national media. I do think
the only group, Sim. I'm sorry, Sim.
Go ahead.
Like I said, the only people. If you guys could go out and check, I think it's Speak for Yourself, which I think is probably the best out of any of these crappy sports shows. Speak for Yourself. Jason Whitlock. People hate him because they think I actually think he brings a decent point of view a lot of times. And one thing he said was that a lot of these people, and he doesn't like a lot of people in the media too. You got people so-called like Chris Gross. I even say his by name. It's all these so-called journalists. They're not journalists, right? So he said that people want to pile on James Dolan for what he did, but if you take into account everything that happened and all the picks that Knicks, the free agents that Knicks have picked up who've been hurt. When we signed Allen Houston, that big deal. I think in 2003 was it? We signed McDyess. You're getting burnt by and Stoudemire. You're getting burnt by these big free agent acquisitions. And then you have a guy who's going to be 32, who's having probably the worst injury of all time in basketball that you can ever get. And then they picked up a bunch of pieces along with the young parts, and they have Fizdale. This was probably a smart thing. And it's the so-called people on the internet. It's the internet people who are trying to so-called say the Knicks, blah, blah. But when you talk to most fans, most people are like, no, the Knicks actually did. It's actually smart. Don't go after the hurt free agent.
Let's get into, before we even get into the off-season signings and stuff like that, let's talk about the draft first.
All right.
Let's talk about the draft, and we're going to give the draft a grade. So, first things first, and this is a lot about the national media too, right? But first things first, the Knicks, the media, people in the media actually blamed the Knicks for not getting the number 1 draft pick. Right? That was just totally crazy to me. I'm like, really? You guys are really blaming the Knicks for not getting the number 1 draft pick? You know what I'm saying? And it was simply ridiculous. The Knicks, the Knicks tanked so that they can get the number 1 draft pick. They did not get the number 1 draft pick. The odds were that the Knicks would not get the number 1 draft pick. That was the odds. Right? The Knicks, it was a 14% chance that the Knicks would get that number 1 draft pick. But somehow, some way, people actually blamed the Knicks for not getting the number 1 draft pick. Stephen A. Smith, probably the number 1 guy, who blamed the Knicks for not getting the number 1 draft pick. You know what he say? Oh, the Knicks did it again, or whatever he said. And it was just ridiculous. It was just one of the most ridiculous things that I've seen. You know what I mean? How are you really going to blame the Knicks for the lottery balls? There was nothing you could do about the lottery balls. You know what I'm saying? Nothing you could do about the lottery balls whatsoever. So the Knicks didn't get the number 1 draft pick. And what they did is obviously drafted R.J. Barrett. Right? And then they traded up so that they could draft Ignaz Brazdeikis. Now, we've seen in the Summer League, we've seen Iggy drop 30 points in the Summer League. We've seen R.J. Barrett in the last game almost drop a triple-double in the last game. He started off real rocky, right? He started off real rocky, probably due to a lot of the things that he had to deal with leading up to the draft, then the draft, then leading up to the Summer League. Okay. But we got R.J. Barrett. And I think R.J. Barrett is going to be a really good player in the NBA. I think he's going to do very well in the NBA. I think that he's going, is he going to be an all-star? I don't know. Right? But the Knicks were in the top 3. There was only 3 guys there that you could draft that were going to be it was a top heavy draft. You had Zion Williamson, Ja Morant, R.J. Barrett. In my opinion, the Knicks did exactly what they were supposed to do. And you know what's so sad is that the Knicks would get knocked for doing exactly what they're supposed to do. You know what I mean? They drafted R.J. Barrett. What else did you expect them to do? Did they expect something magical to happen? I don't know. But they did what they're supposed to do. They drafted R.J. Barrett. What do you give him, Guillermo, for the draft?
I give him an A. Like, first of all, I give him an A-. Put it like this. I wasn't a big, actually, no, I give him an A because I wasn't a big fan of of Zion Williamson, as they, the all that intangible stuff, whatever. And the lack of actual NBA skills. So that stuff, and again, let me start. We're starting from context. We couldn't get the number 1 draft pick. We didn't have it, right? So all that stuff with the media saying is just hogwash and stupidity. R.J. Barrett was probably the best. He's the best pick. I mean, again, I didn't want to go after NCAA Tony Starleton, Culver, and who's the other guy from the other defensive guy. One from Virginia. I'm forgetting his name. I wasn't big on those guys. And, I like what we did the second round pick. We moved up for a guy that had a first round grade. So, I mean, A-. I mean, that is a bang draft. Oh, actually, only thing I'll take back, Sim, I didn't like the UCLA pick, that kid, because I just don't like role motor guys who always show up when the game is essentially done and they score in bunches. I don't know. I have to do more research on him. The Wilkes kid, being like one of the top high school guys, but not really panning out. And that's a G League guy. So you see if this guy's really serious about basketball, maybe he finds or regains whatever he lost in college or whatever and shapens up. So again, that's a really good pick. That the only knock is the UCLA pick, but Iggy Brazdeikis might actually be more productive early on than RJ. That's not even a knock on RJ. I think RJ, because you're going to try to find the best role for him going forward if you want to be an all-ball guy, is going to take a little bit slower. But I thought the Knicks did a great job. The media, again, buffoons, but I give the Knicks an A-.
Okay. All right. And I think I'm there with you. You know what I mean?
What didn't you like about the draft?
What did I not like about it? Honestly, I don't know if there's anything that I did not like about the draft, right? Okay, they picked the guy that they were supposed to pick, that they should have picked in R.J. Barrett. They scouted out Ignaz Brazdeikis, and they felt like, this guy is possibly, they thought that maybe he was a first-round pick or could have been a first-round pick. They thought he had the talent and ability to be a first-round pick, and maybe he's even proved that in Summer League, right? And they gave him the contract. We'll see how it pans out when it gets to the regular season, but so far, with everything that's happened, it seems like they may be correct about him. They might be right about him. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I don't see anything that they did wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My man that's just joined us in the chat. What's your name again?
Yo, new guy.
Yeah, my man.
Oh, Ronnie?
Ronnie, yeah. What you think about the Knicks draft? How do you think they did?
And I think we did exactly what we were supposed to do. That's it. It's that simple. There was nobody else that we could pick over R.J. Barrett.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's that simple. Now, are they going to criticize him? Yes, of course, because of the stage that he's playing on. Is somebody probably going to come out on top of him in the long term? Most likely it happens often with draft picks. But, you know, at the point in time where we was at in the draft, I think we picked up whoever was best.
Right. And we this is what would have, if the Knicks would have tried to get cute. That's when you would have had to criticize them, right? They would have tried to get cute, and they would have tried to, we're going to trade him now, and we're going to get this guy and that guy because we think this guy is going to do this and this guy is going to do that. That's when you're like, okay, you guys bumbled it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They did, they did the right kind of research. You know, they had guys coming in, and they had all of us talking about, you know, why is this guy coming in? Why is that guy coming in? Or whatever it was. But they did their research. You know what I mean? To make sure and make sure that they were making a good, educated, and stable decision. And then they went ahead and they made the draft, and I think they made the right draft pick. I think this guy, look, he finally calmed down in Summer League. He almost had a triple-double his last game, you know, and I think that he's going to be a good player. I think he's going to be a really good player for us for years to come in the NBA. You know, I think the Knicks did really well in the draft. What do you think about Iggy?
I like him. I think he might be the steal of the draft. You know, we might get lucky like we did last year, you know. But I'm not going to lie to you. I got real nervous when they started talking about Culver. I was like, oh, God, no.
Yeah. And look, I'm not even going to lie. I do like Culver, and I think Culver may have the potential to be, a really good player that comes out of this draft. I wasn't ready to draft him over R.J. Barrett, but I did like him.
Exactly. I mean, it's kind of like this. If somebody presents you an ounce of gold, right, and then they present you 5 ounces of silver, and they say, hey, in the future, there's going to be some kind of technology that you could turn the silver into gold. You're still going to take the gold because right now it's already gold. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's already gold right now because you don't know if that technology is going to work.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think they did the right thing. And Sandy, what do you think? What do you think, man? You know, how do you rate our draft?
I think notes so I can kind of get all my points out. So here's where it stands, all right?
All right.
They drafted the two best spot up shooters in the draft, which definitely is going to impact floor spacing, right? If you recall, we talked, I think, draft night when they took Iggy. I was saying then, for you guys who didn't see much or any of him, being a Wolverine fan, I saw most of his games, and he was fearless, and he had a really good shot. You know, he was a good shooter. As you could see, most of his threes were nothing but net. I mean, when he's on, he is on. So that's awesome. His one problem in college that I noticed was he seemed to, I mean, again, the Big Ten ain't no joke. You know, it's a tough league. They play rough there night in, night out. He seemed to tire out as the season went on, and his stats actually dropped because of that. So coming off the bench this year is perfect for him, or this coming season would be perfect for him. So I'm excited about Iggy. As far as RJ goes, right? The one knock on him was the shooting, or his biggest knock, I'll say. But he still finished the season as the number 2 best spot up in the draft. Hold on, I didn't mute.
Yes, say that again. Say that again.
They're talking, so I can't. Let me mute them. I'm hearing them, and it's messing me up. 1 second. No, I didn't. You didn't know. I don't have you guys muted, so that's what confused me. Hold on. All right, so back to what I was saying. So you know, even though people talk like RJ's not a great shooter, and again, I'm not saying he's not. He does have a long way to go, and he does need to work in that. But also playing in a really good league, he finished number 2 in this draft, as you know, as spot up shooting. Even though he wasn't drafted, they also picked up Chris Wilkes, who happened to be the number 3 best spot up shooter in this draft. And the bottom line is, it's not these 3 guys that ended up Knicks. This is because they have an excellent staff that's done their homework. 3 guys, you know, that can be good spot up shooters, really help a team with the floor spacing. So I think I'm really happy about all that.
Okay.
The most important thing is, as a Knicks fan, I think we always fear they're going to screw it up. And my biggest fear was, will this be the old Knicks? Are they going to trade this pick for 3 later first-round picks that end up all just being marginal players and not take the guy that has the potential to be a game changer? They didn't do that, and they didn't say, oh, let me take someone else. They took the guy that was meant to go 3rd, who should have gone at least at minimum, you know, at the minimum 3rd. So I'm grading this draft an A. I'm going to send something into your I'm going to send a link into this Twitch. If anybody wants to look at this just for shits and giggles, I made this YouTube video before the draft, and I'll read you my description. This is basically, I went to that site where you could do that tankathon site where you could sim the draft.
Uh-huh.
I did this sim. The first time I did the sim twice, we ended up with the number 1 pick, 12 out of 100 simulations. And then the second time, we got it 9. Basically, I did it 100 times twice. And we ended up with 100 times. We only ended up with the first pick 21 times.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
And I ironically, praying that they don't drop lower than number 3. This was a couple of days before the draft. I mean, most of us who are smart, you know, real legit people, I mean, we prayed for number 1, but we really most of us had an idea that we weren't going to end up at number 1. So anyone that blames the Knicks for a mathematical thing are just plain stupid, you know?
Yeah, I feel you, man. And look, this definitely we it's crazy, you know. It's crazy that they do it, but I think we did the right thing when it comes to the draft. I think we did the right thing. We did very well, and you can do well by simply not doing the wrong thing. And there would be a lot of people that might disagree with me and say, well, they did what they're supposed to do. But there is a reward for doing what you're supposed to do. You know what I mean? Because very easily, you know, they could have tried to be special and just do something just to do something, which we've seen New York Knicks regimes do in the past. They do something just so that they can do something and make it look like they're doing something. You know, that's not what we want. You know what I mean? We want the Knicks to be smart, be very smart. And I think that's exactly what the Knicks did. And if that being smart is simply by doing the right thing and not trying to get too cute and too funny, then so be it. So be it. All right. So I give the draft an A. I think the Knicks got an A for the draft. I think that they all they needed to do was the right thing, and that's all that they did was the right thing. They did, I was a little bit nervous for a second because, they were looking at players. They were looking at Darius Garland. They were looking at whoever they were looking at, and it was like, okay, what's going on here? What are you guys thinking? And, all of that probably could have been them, they were having discussions with whoever about different players, and different possibilities. And so they were just being prepared just in case. And that's what you're supposed to do. That's what we would want the Knicks, our front office to do. We want them to be prepared. We want them to be ready in case anything happens. You know what I'm saying? And, so I think they did the right thing. Nick, I'm glad you joined us, man. Tell me, how do you feel about the Knicks draft? Did they do the right thing?
I got you on my phone. Let me just cut it off right quick.
All right. I'm gonna just ask you real quick before I give my grade.
Yeah. You were just talking about what do I give the Knicks, like a grade?
Yeah, for the draft.
For the draft, I'll say like an A-.
Okay, why the minus?
I did feel like they could have absorbed contracts, just like, say, what's dude name from Phoenix, and got some other picks along with it. Now because we had so much cap space. I mean, I know they had a plan from the time they knew they weren't getting Durant. That was the only thing, because, and we could talk about it later on, but my idea is, the Knicks are going to need an all-star at some point in time. And in some ways, because of the Paul George trade, just as many picks as you could possibly get. So that, let's say Julius Randle is an all-star this year, you want to pair him up with another all-star. But that's just a just-in-case type scenario.
Okay. And so you're looking at that really kind of that's kind of moving into free agency a little bit. And because really they wouldn't have been able to, the Knicks wouldn't have been able to absorb any contracts to get draft picks that they would have been able to use in this draft, because they didn't have that money free until July 1st.
No, they didn't. Well, but that's what I'm saying. Would you absorb a bad contract to get someone in that draft? Like a second player or something like that, well, a third player, sorry.
Right. Now, I guess it would have had to been a predetermined kind of deal, like, okay, you draft such and such for us, and then on July 1st, we'll take him and absorb, something like that.
Yeah. That was the only thing that I really ding them for. But, for the most part, they did what they were supposed to do, like everyone said. And look, I'm proud of it. I'm good, because they hit, to me, like the guys they brought into training, summer league, they were good. Guys that the guy that they got in the second round, Ignis, like, he's good. Like, you could see the talent, and to get him that late in the draft, that's great, man. RJ Barrett has potential, and they always go for the upside play. So the fact that they always go upside, it's you could see the potential. It's just bringing it all together and making it work.
Do you think that Iggy is could have been a first round pick? Nick?
Late first round, maybe.
Yeah, like a late first round pick.
Yeah.
Or do you?
I can see.
Do you think he has the talent of a first round pick?
Well, I could see him being late first round. I'm trying to remember some of the guys that went in the late first round, but yeah, I could see him, because the thing is, maybe he's undersized a little bit for the 4 spot, but by the fact that he could shoot, he's got toughness, and he could rebound. That's great value, and you could put that inside like a late first round, type talent. He really can shoot. That's the big thing.
So why do you think that? Why do you think he didn't go first round?
So I always say this, but it's kind of sad. One, he's white. Two, he people like to say, like, white guys aren't athletic and stuff like that. They kind of bottle him in. And then also he has a Europeanish background. Guys like to diss Europeans. I don't know what it is. It's
okay. Okay.
But when you think about it, like a lot of these European guys are tougher than American kids, especially coming in.
Yes,
I think Iggy is tough.
I think
this kid he's tough.
Yeah, I think he's really tough. I think Iggy is really tough, and yeah, I think the Knicks, I think they got one with Iggy. You know what I mean? I really do. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go back to you because I know free agency is gonna be a long. We're gonna have a lot of people's gonna have a lot to say about free agency. I think that the Knicks did very well in the draft. I'm giving the Knicks an A for the draft. Right, and I'm giving them an A for the draft. Yeah, because they did not mess up. They did not try to get fancy. They did not try to get cute. They did not try to just try to be special, right? It's almost like you say when I'm talking about Ignaz Brazdeikis, when I talk about him, I say he plays within his skill set. He doesn't try to do anything outside of what he can't do. Right? And that's what he does. And that's what makes him, to me, a good player, because he plays within his skill set. He stays within what he can do. He understands his limitations. And that's what I think the Knicks showcased in this draft. Actually, throughout the offseason, I think they did a good job of staying within their limitations and not trying to go too far outside of their limitations. And that's important. That's important for a player, and it's important for a team. Because when you try to go outside, let me tell you who tried to go outside of their limitations a lot. And I know sometimes you got to push your limitations. You got to push the boundaries. That's how you get better, right? That's how you get better. That's how you grow. You push those limitations. But Isaiah Thomas, back in the day, I thought that he sometimes looked outside of the team's limitations and tried to go outside of the boundaries a little bit, which is the reason why we ended up getting like the Eddie Currys. I understood the Eddie Currys. I mean, Isaiah Thomas did bring in some talent, but I thought he tried to push it a little bit too much. And that's the reason why, things ended up the way that it did. He wasn't frugal with the salary cap. He wasn't smart with the salary cap. I think this team right here is very smart with the salary cap. They stay within their limitations. They understand what they have, and I think they have a good idea of how the Knicks are looked upon. They're a smart group. And I like what they are doing so far. You know what I mean? So yeah, I give the Knicks an A for the draft, and the A is for, not trying to go out of bounds, not trying to do too much, doing exactly what they needed to do. They did a little bit in trading up to get Iggy because they thought they'd seen something and thought they found something with Iggy. And I think a lot of us agree that Iggy is, maybe could be one of the steals of the draft. All right, so, big shout out to the Knicks for that. I think they did a very good job, just staying grounded in the draft and not trying to do too much, doing exactly what they needed to do. Now let's talk about free agency, because this is where the conversation is going to come in. Free agency. Obviously, the big thing for this year's free agency was that the Knicks had cap space so that they could sign 2 players at the very least, and if they were smart and slick enough, could make some trades so that they could bring in 3 players. That was the talk for free agency, right? That was the talk. That was everything. That the Knicks will have the ability to bring in 2 max free agents. And everybody knows who those 2 max free agents were. Right? Those 2 max free agents were Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. That was the talk. That was everything. And so everything that happens with the Knicks free agency is looked at in the scope of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. And what you're looking at on the screen right now, if you're just joining us, this is our offseason report card for the New York Knicks. I'm about to go ahead and bring that off the screen because we're going to get back to it shortly. But everything that happened in free agency is really looked at through the lens and scope of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, which maybe is unfair for the New York Knicks. And here's the reason why I say that. Because everyone continues to say that the Knicks were selling to the league, selling the fans, selling to everyone that they were getting Kevin Durant, that they were getting Kyrie Irving. And they say that off of one statement by Jim Dolan. And the statement by Jim Dolan was this. He said, everything that I've heard and everything that I know, we'll be doing very well in free agency. Okay. And of course, and yes, he probably was talking about Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, or maybe somebody else, but he was talking about one of those star players. But that's what he said. Everything that he knows, everything that he's heard, that was all that he said. And from that, everybody says that the Knicks were leading the fans on, that the Knicks were telling the fans that this is who they were getting in free agency. And it wasn't the case. It just wasn't the truth. Because I do not know how many times Scott Perry, Steve Mills went public and told everybody, cool it, cool down, relax. Because if we don't get these guys, we are very, very cool with just building. How many times did they have to say that? They said it a lot of times, but the media don't hear that. The media doesn't hear that. Not the national media. They didn't hear that at all. The only thing that they took is that the Knicks were trying to get Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. That Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving were going to New York. They planned to go to New York. It was going to be New York. That's what they took from everything. And it just wasn't the truth. Just wasn't the truth. Now, maybe if the Knicks had some other things in place, maybe it does happen. I don't know. But the context of the Knicks free agency is wrapped around those two players coming or not coming to the Knicks and going to Brooklyn. All right, so that's the context of the Knicks free agency. And that's the context that most other people outside of New York Knicks fans are looking at this context or looking at the Knicks in that context. But I don't care about that. Right? I want to look at it through reality and what the Knicks did. And we're going to talk about what the Knicks did. Now, we're really going to take and we're going to look at it. What I'm going to look at right now, we're going to take a minute and we're just going to look at and we're going to go over some of the free agents that the Knicks signed. All right, so let's start with the big guy, the guy that could possibly be a star, that we hope could be a star in the coming years. Listen, he's going to be on the Knicks for at least 2 years, possibly 3 years. And you know who we're talking about? We're talking about Julius Randle. Right? And Julius Randle's had, we talked about him plenty of times before. Julius Randle had his best season last year. Okay, best season last year. And the Knicks signed the man 3 years, $64 million with a third-year team option. Okay, third-year team option, which is very, very good, in my opinion. Let's take a look at Julius Randle. Let's talk about him just a little bit. And I'm going to run through everybody. The only one I don't have up is Morris. I don't have that one, but, we'll talk about him still. Julius Randle is from Kentucky, drafted in 2014. He was drafted with the 7th pick of the first round. He's 24 years old. His birthday is 11/29/1994. Last season with the New Orleans Pelicans, he averaged 21.4 points per game, 8.7 rebounds, 3.1 assists. He shot 52.4% from the field, 34.4% from three, and he shot 73.1% from the free throw line. A career year for Julius Randle. He's a power forward, 6'9", 250 pounds. 3 years, $64 million with an option in the third year. And that's important. Just remember that. That's very important. That means he's on the books for 2019, 2020, 2020, 2021. And then there's a team option for 2021, 2022. Remember that about Julius Randle. Okay? Just remember that. And then after Julius Randle, we got Taj Gibson. Taj Gibson, he's been in the league for a while. He's a crafty vet. Been in the league for a while. He's another power forward. He's 6'9", 232 pounds. Went to Southern Cal. He was drafted in 2009. 26th pick of the first round. He's 34 years old. Last season with the Minnesota Timberwolves, Taj Gibson averaged 10.8 points per game, 6.5 rebounds, 1.2 assists. He shot 56.6% from the field, 32.4% from three, and he shot 75.7% from the free throw line. Taj Gibson is tough. Taj Gibson doesn't back down. Taj Gibson is grizzled. He is exactly what the Knicks needed on his team. Exactly. I love the pickup. Well, hold up. Let me back up. Let me stop lying to you. At first, I was a little bit like, I'm not sure. I was. But then when I thought about it a little bit, I understood. 2 years, $20 million. Could it have been a little bit different? Maybe it could have been a little bit cheaper. How much of a market was there for Taj Gibson? I don't know. But there could have been a nice market for Taj Gibson. I'm not going to say there wasn't. There could have been a nice market for Taj Gibson. You know, especially a championship team. I can guarantee you this. The Lakers might have looked towards him. And the Knicks did a good job of snatching up some of these role players, man. The Lakers may have looked towards him if he was still available, you know, based on everything that the Lakers did. So we got Taj Gibson. 2 years, $20 million. There's a team option in that second year. So that means he's going to get $10 million in 2019, 2020. That's this upcoming season. He's going to get, and then there's a team option for the 2020, 2021 season. Now, the Knicks may pick up the option. They may not pick up the option, but it leaves them flexible. And it also makes him a trade chip. It makes him a trade chip because he's an expiring contract that the team will have an option whether they want to keep or not. So that's a nice trade chip that the Knicks have because people know what Taj Gibson is. There's not, I mean, if he comes in and he plays, he gets another 10.6 rebounds a game. People are going to expect that from him. You know, he's a good trade chip. He'll be a good trade chip. Now let's talk about Bobby Portis. Another guy the Knicks signed. The Knicks signed Bobby Portis. He's another power forward, but he's also 6'11", so he can play some center. By the way, Taj Gibson can also play center. Okay? He can also play some center. Bobby Portis, 6'11", 250 pounds. He played at Arkansas. He was drafted in 2015. Pick number 22, round 1. He's 24 years old. Last season with the Washington Wizards, he averaged 14.2 points per game, 8.1 rebounds per game, 1.4 assists. He shot 44.4% from the field and 39.3% from three, which is just super duper important. Because if the Knicks are going to have lanes for guys like Dennis Smith Jr., Alonzo Trier, right? We picked up Elfrid Payton. If the Knicks are going to have lanes for these guys to penetrate, we're going to need guys that can shoot the basketball. And Bobby Portis is a guy that can shoot the ball. He shot 39.3% from the three-point line. That's big-time efficiency. He signed for 2 years, $31 million. Okay? And there's an option for the second year once again. So he's getting $15.5 million a year, something like that. You know, I don't know how the contract, actually splits up. So he'll be on the books for 1920 for sure. And then if the Knicks don't like him for the 2020, 2021, they can let him go. If they like him, they can keep him. Another option. There's another team option. But I you know what? Listen, Bobby Portis, just a little story, just talking about Bobby Portis real quick. He's changed his diet. He really is. He's on a health food kick. He's trying to make sure his body is right. His body's in shape. He's only 24 years old. He's another one of these guys that could possibly elevate his game. Elfrid Payton. The Knicks signed Elfrid Payton. Point guard. 6'4", 185 pounds. He went to Louisiana. He was drafted in 2014. He was drafted in the first round, pick number 10. He's 25 years old. Last season with the New Orleans Pelicans. And listen, I like the fact that he played with the Pelicans last year because Julius Randle played with the Pelicans last year. So that's a they have a little bit of chemistry already that they can bring to the team. And going back to Bobby Portis real quick, he's one of the reasons why, I would like to get a Bradley Beal because they played together last season as well. I'm not going to go too far into that because that's beyond this, but you can go back and look at that last video, where I talked about Bradley Beal. But anyway, he averaged 10.6 points per game, 5.2 rebounds, 7.6 assists. He shot 43.4% from the field last season, 31.4% from three, 74.3% from the free throw line. I'd love for him to get that 3-point shot up, to get his 3-point percentage up. That would be beautiful. We'll see if he can. But the guy can get triple doubles. That's what I like about him. And he plays defense. He's not afraid to play deep. Now, what happens with Frank Ntilikina now that we've got Elfrid Payton and we got Dennis Smith Jr., we'll see. But you want to get as much talent you can in the training camp, and then you work it out from there. The guy had 5 straight triple-doubles last year. 5 straight triple-doubles. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to. I like him. And his contract is decent. 2 years, $16 million. And, of course, there's an option for that second year. So, once again, there's another option for that second year. I mean, if you look at, the flexibility that the Knicks kept is incredible to me. Some of these guys, I believe, could have gotten longer contracts, but, they chose not to. But also, these guys are looking to, cement their careers and show that they can be starters in this league. Some of these guys. Next, we're going to talk about Wayne Ellington. Another sharpshooter, right? Wayne Ellington. He's a shooting guard, 6'5", 200 pounds. He's also a vet. Went to the University of North Carolina, drafted in 2009. Pick number 28, round 1. He's 31 years old. Last season with the Pistons, he averaged 10.3 points per game, 2 rebounds, 1.4 assists. He shot 40% from the field, but he shot 37% from 3. And again, that's what we want. We want guys that can shoot the 3. He shot 79.6% from the free throw line. The Knicks gave him a contract, 2 years, $16 million. 2 years, $16 million. And of course, there's a team option in the second year. So if you pay attention, I want to bring this over to me real quick. And we'll get to, some of the other guys at the Knicks signed. But I want to get this. I just want you guys to pay attention to how things could look in this off season. I mean, how they did things in this off season. If you pay attention, we went over Taj Gibson, $10 million, team option for the second year. Bobby Portis, he's going to get $15.5 million this year. Right, so that's $25 million that the Knicks are going to pay in 1920. Okay, Elfrid Payton, that's $8 million for 1920. Right, so that right there is $33 million. Another $8 million to Wayne Ellington. Right, so you're into $30-something million right there of contracts that you could move if you wanted to because they're all expiring deals. So I know, we talk about some people, and we'll talk about it a little bit with Nick. We talked about bringing in and taking in some of these expiring contracts so that we can get first round picks. But when you look at these deals, I'm not going to put it out of the realm of possibility that the Knicks could still pull in first-round picks with these players or other players because of the way that these deals are structured. I think it was a very, very smart move for the Knicks to structure these deals this way, and they did a very good job. Very good job. You know, I think it was it took a lot of planning, in my opinion. So what it tells me is that when the Knicks went into free agency, they didn't just have their hearts set on one thing. They clearly knew that there was a possibility, a big possibility probably, that they weren't going to get Kevin Durant, they weren't going to get Kyrie Irving, and so they had plans in place. And that's what really pisses me off with some of these people that talk about the Knicks, because how can you not see the plan? That's what I don't get. How can you not see those plans? I don't understand it, because those plans were pretty clear. It was pretty clear what the Knicks were doing and wanted to do with what they did in free agency as their backup plan. Smart backup plan. They didn't commit money to guys that didn't deserve the money, right? They didn't give, everybody, the big name out there was always Tobias Harris. I don't want to give Tobias Harris, a max contract, da-da-da-da-da. And I got it. I understood it. Neither did I. I didn't want to give a max contract to guys that didn't deserve a max contract. And they didn't do that, right? They didn't do that. They were smart about it. They were strategic about the way that they handled their business. That's what I like. And then, announced just recently, the Knicks signed Reggie Bullock and they signed Marcus Morris. All right. Reggie Bullock is on a 2-year, $8 million deal. Marcus Morris is getting $15 million for 1 season. And again, there's short deals that the Knicks can get out of those deals. Okay? They can get out of these deals. Now, originally Reggie Bullock was going to sign with the Knicks, right? He was going to sign with the Knicks for like 2 years. I forgot what it was, maybe $15 million or something like that. It was something like that Reggie Bullock was going to sign with the Knicks. No, but then what happened is Reggie Bullock ended up with, I guess he has something with, I'm sorry, Reggie Bullock was 2 years, $21 million. Reggie Bullock, by the way, last season, Reggie Bullock averaged 11.3 points per game, 2.7 rebounds, 2 assists, shot 41% from the field, and he shot 37% from three. That was Reggie Bullock last season. The Knicks renegotiated his contract because, he has a disc issue in his back, and it was going to prevent him from being able to play the entire season. So the Knicks renegotiated the contract, and once they renegotiated his contract, they were able to give Marcus Morris a $15 million deal for 1 season. Marcus Morris, both of these guys are young vets in the league. I think Reggie Bullock, I believe, is 28 years old. Yeah, he's 28 years old. Marcus Morris is 29 years old. So these guys are young vets that's been around the league. But they're young enough to be around if the Knicks get good in a year or two. If you're talking about some guys coming in, they're young enough to still be here and still be part of that squad. So that's the off season for the New York Knicks. Again, just recently the Knicks went ahead and inked Reggie Bullock and Marcus Morris. That's the off season for the Knicks. That's what we have. I want to know what you think about what the Knicks did this off season. I want to know how you feel. I'm going to get to a phone call, then I'm going to get to the video chat. All right? Let me know how you feel about it. Caller, you're on live with Nothing But Knicks. What's popping?
What's good, Sam?
I'm
this
good,
is
man.
Emmanuel.
How you feeling, man? I'm chilling, man. Just trying to make...
I'm good. You on free agency, right?
Yep. We on free agency right now. Just talking about, we're giving them a grade. What do you think they deserve for free agency?
I give them a C minus, D plus.
A C minus or a B plus or C or a D plus.
D plus.
Okay, so why do you give him that?
Because I'm pessimistic about it. I think this team is too deep. If that's something that you want to like, is that something that you could say? I don't know. I think it's too deep, and the reason why I think that is because they signed a lot of dudes to that 1+1 deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So automatically, what came, like, at first I was excited about it because I was like, we got dogs. But then I started looking into it, and I'm like, yo, they gave them a lot of 1+1 deals that these guys are going to be wanting to fight for their next contract. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
So at some point, the locker room, Fizdale's going to have his work cut out for him in the locker room with the minutes. And if we're going by what we've seen by last season, the way he plays dudes' minutes is crazy. And I don't want another Enes Kanter situation. You get what I'm saying? Like, these dudes are fighting for the next contract. They're going to want minutes. And then how is that going to play out with the development of the rookies as well? I mean, with the young guys as well. So, like, with all that being said, it's like, I don't know what's going to, like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, how is this going to look? Like, for example, Frank is out of the rotation completely with these new signees.
Mm-hmm.
Iggy, like, if you're looking at the roster, you think, is he ever going to get any playing minutes with this roster? So it's like, yeah, you want to compete, but at the same token, you're too deep. You got so many dudes with this contract that are going to want to play for their next one. So that's when I started thinking, like, damn, maybe we should have signed somebody for a bad contract and maybe not sign at least two of these dudes and let one dude, trade 2 for 1. 2 of these dudes for one bad contract. That way, the dude with the bad contract, at least he's going to know that he's not playing for a next contract and he's not going to be as much of a problem in the locker room. But all of these guys are gonna be hungry. They're gonna want to compete.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
No, that's definitely something that I thought about. These guys. I mean, especially you look at someone like Marcus Morris. You're paying him $15 million a year. He might be the second highest paid player on the Knicks, right?
Yeah.
Right, Marcus Morris. So I mean, if he's probably he should be starting. He's probably going to be the starter. What I don't believe that's necessarily bad for Kevin Knox. As long as he's still getting 20 to 30 minutes a game, 25 to 30 minutes a game, I think that that'll be good for Kevin Knox to have somebody to kind of grow up under and build under. Someone like a Marcus Morris that he can grow and build under. So I don't know if that's necessarily bad for Kevin Knox. Frank Ntilikina, I agree with you. I don't know where he's going to fit in when you're talking about Frank now, because at the point guard spot, you got Elfrid Payton, you got Dennis Smith Jr. At the 2 spot, you got Alonzo Trier, you got R.J. Barrett. He can go to 2 or to 3. You got Damian Dotson, you got Wayne Ellington. You got a lot of guys at that shooting guard spot. At the 3 spot, of course, we just said you got Marcus Morris, you got Kevin Knox, R.J. Barrett can play some 3, Frank can play some 3, Reggie Bullock, who's probably going to be out a lot of the season, but he can play some 3. So yeah, there's definitely a log jam at every single position except for center. But there's basically a log jam at every single position. I don't know how Fizdale is going to be able to work it out. But one of the things that I believe is that by the time we get to December the 15th, some of these guys are going to be trade bait. That's what I think. And they'll use some of these guys to kind of clear up the roster. That's what I'm thinking.
I think they're waiting. I think they're waiting to trade some of these dudes as well. I think that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna trade somebody. They have to. Yeah. They have to, because it's not. I don't think it's good. It's too they're too deep. I think it's too deep.
Yeah, no, I definitely see where there's a problem in there, man. I definitely see where there can be a problem in there because it's going to be very hard.
Dotson is not going to get no. Dotson is you don't see. I don't see much minutes for Dotson. Who else you said at that 2 spot?
I mean, you're looking at that 2 spot. You got Dotson. You got R.J. Barrett. You got Alonzo Trier, Damian Dotson, Wayne Ellington. Frank Ntilikina can play some 2 if they decide to put him there, and Frank can go from the 1 to the 2 to the 3.
It's deep. It's deep. It's gonna be. Dude is gonna have problems. I'm telling you. That locker room. Somebody's gonna have to get moved. 2 people at least are gonna have to get. At least that's what I'm seeing. That's how I see it.
Okay, and and no one can get moved until December the 15th.
Exactly.
So no.
And I don't know who they're gonna move him for. Maybe Bradley Beal, like you said.
And
I think that would be smart. I think that would be smart because it works out for both teams. Because that way they could clear cap and start to rebuild completely. And then we got Bradley Beal along with Julius Randle.
Yeah, and
that could work for us. But if not, I don't know.
And then you can move some players to open up. You can move some players to start to open up room in the roster. I think that's part of their strategy too. If it doesn't work out, they still got these guys where they can, let some guy, at the end of the season, they can not re-up their contract, not accept not take their team option. But I think it's something that they're angling for where they could make some moves like that. They could trade somebody for a draft pick, right? Because if you think about it, it would be perfect if they trade some of these guys for Bradley Beal. They help Washington clear cap space, right? Mm-hmm. Then in 2021, AD becomes available. We're gonna have that money. We're gonna have a max spot for him. Then we got AD, Julius, and Beal, and they all around the same age, 23, 24. So, hey, it could work if that's what they're looking to do. It looks good, but I don't know. I don't see this being their roster moving forward for long term. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with you there, and I think we'll probably start hearing some rumors in around December, something like that. When it gets to the December 15th mark on who guys might be, who the Knicks might be looking at trading for, something like that. Someone like D'Angelo Russell could be available. I'm not.
I think Frank is going to be one. They're going to end up moving Frank, and the reason why I think they're going to end up moving him because his contract, the money ends up going up, and I don't think they're going to want to pay Frank like whatever the money it is that for his final year of the deal. So I think they're going to end up moving him, and then that helps the next team he goes to because that gives him his bird rights. So I think they're going to end up moving Frank as well.
Yeah, the Knicks would have to give Frank a qualifying offer. Frank and Dennis Smith Jr., both of those guys get a qualifying offer at the end of the season. So the Knicks have to decide whether or not they want to give them a qualifying offer or not. Kind of like they had to do with Emmanuel Mudiay. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Hey, man, I appreciate the call. Thank you for rocking with me as we, juggling platforms right now. So I appreciate
no
that.
doubt.
You know what I mean? But, we're doing good with it so far, though, man. It's starting to build up. People starting to figure out where we are. You know what I mean? So I appreciate it, bro.
All right, no doubt.
All right, peace.
Peace.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, give me a call. I want to hear how you feel. Pretty soon we're going to give that grade, but I want to hear how you feel about the Knicks free agency, what they've done in free agency. Caller, you're on live with Nothing But Knicks. What's popping?
Hey, what's up, son?
Good, man. So tell me, how do you think? How do you think the Knicks did in free agency? You heard what Emmanuel was just saying, and he made some really, really good points. About signing a lot of, these one-on-one contracts, and then now you got guys who are, they're still going to be hungry because they want that contract for the next year. And if they don't perform, they don't get that contract. So if they're not getting playing time, guess what? They're angry, right? If
I don't.
What do you think?
I don't know if they're. I mean, I think the guys that are going to earn playing time are going to get playing time, and I don't think it's going to be. I think we're going to see some things like we didn't expect. I think some of our young guys are going to, aren't going to meet the challenge, but it's not like we're putting scrubs out there. I mean, Elfrid Payton is a viable a starting caliber point guard in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Marcus Morris started a lot of games for the Celtics. He's been in the playoffs forever. I mean, Julius Randle is a star, borderline, if he plays up to his potential. Bobby Portis is another starter on decent teams, better teams than the Knicks. I mean, I think I don't like that guy's grade. He said C minus D. That's crazy. I mean, I'm not going to give us an A, but I'll give us a B, solid B.
Okay, I think he was given. I think he was given that grade. I think he was given that grade kind of based on what he was thinking about, how things could play out, and how the roster is deep. It's not so deep where you're like, oh gosh, these guys are gonna rule the NBA. You know what I'm saying? But it's deep in mediocre guys. You know what I mean? But it's deep with guys that deserve to play. And that's where Fizdale could have a problem. And I'm interested to see how Fizdale deals with that as well.
I think he's going to deal with it the way he's dealt with it we saw last year. I mean, last year he messed around with the lineup a lot. But he also sat guys. Like, he didn't – it's not like he made sure Mario got 5-10 minutes. Mario sat 5-6 games and then would come in and play. Same thing with Vonleh. Same thing with Trey Burke. Same thing, I don't even think they played Courtney Lee. I mean, I think we got I think the only guys I see who are going to get definite plus minutes are Randle and Barrett. I think the rest of them, it's earn what you can get. I mean, if Marcus Morris, Elfrid Payton go out there and play above, play where they played last year, even a little bit above their heads, you can't start Kevin Knox. And Kevin Knox he hasn't earned it. I think he shouldn't have started last year.
Well, but this is what I'm going to say. As concerning last year, these are some different guys. Right? These are definitely some different guys, and I think that some of these guys you got to respect, and he's going to respect them. You're going to have some stronger. Yeah. There's going to be a lot stronger personalities in the locker room, and there's not going to be personalities like Tim Hardaway Jr., who, in my opinion, was a crybaby, a whiner. Right? It's not going to be personalities like that. These are going to be strong men in the locker room that have strong personalities, and some of them close to Fizdale's age. Fizdale's like 42, 43 years old, and you got, Taj Gibson, 34. That's not too much of a difference.
No, I think Fizdale's, like, from what you hear, Fizdale's a respected guy in the league. You don't hear anything bad about Fizdale. You hear a lot of stuff bad about Dolan, which I don't think is warranted, but Fizdale always, when you hear players talk about Fizdale, they give him respect.
Yeah,
so
they do.
I don't think the respect things. I think it's good that we have some solid vets in there. I mean, Enes Kanter is a clown. Tim Hardaway Jr. is what's he doing? It's like he's not a leader. Porzingis didn't play last year. We didn't have any leaders in our locker room until DeAndre Jordan got there. We didn't have a leader in that locker room, Lance Thomas. But guys who get sweat equity. If you're if you earn it, and Lance Thomas kind of got it forced because we didn't have a four all year long. We didn't have a solid four.
And listen, I'm not necessarily talking about guys liking Fizdale, liking or disliking Fizdale. What I get from Fizdale is that Fizdale is not necessarily. I feel like Fizdale makes a lot of friends with the players. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if this is the team, to me, this is the kind of team where you've got to be tough with these players. You know what I'm saying? Because they have strong personalities.
I think he came from that. He came from that Pat Riley system.
Well,
I mean,
hopefully, but he was an assistant.
Pat Riley system is the toughest system in the league. Guys,
I get it.
Pat Riley system.
I get that.
You know,
I
he
get
comes
that.
in,
But there's a difference. But look, there's a difference though. I know he came from that Pat Riley coaching tree, right? But there's a difference between what he was with Miami and what he is now and what he was with Memphis. See, in Miami, he was an assistant coach. And guess what happens with the assistant coaches? They become the players' friends. The assistant coaches, it's okay to be the player's friend, right? Because you're the assistant coach. The coach is getting on their nerves and the player comes and, you know, is spouting off to you about what they don't like about the coach. It's a little bit different. You know, it's almost like, you know, your mother, your father, they're tough on you, but then your aunt and your uncle, they're the ones that give you the ear and they listen to you. You know what I mean? And then maybe they go to your mom or your father and say, hey, why don't you think about this and that? You know, we'll see. It's going to be a challenge for Fizdale. We'll see. Hey, my man, I appreciate the call.
Okay.
Yeah. I appreciate the call, man. I'm gonna get around because I know there's some people trying to call in. All right. A lot of definitely some concerns, some things to think about. You know, I want to find out. I want to know what you guys think about this free agency, man. You know, a lot of things to think about with this free agency. You know, I look in the chat. I see guys in the chat. You know, like. All red right here says 2 lineups in one. Crazy Knicks, baby. Dave NYK says Knicks 2019-2020 roster. He thinks the starters are Dennis Smith Jr., RJ Morris, Randle, and Mitch. Bench would be Payton, Ellington, Knox, Bobby Gibson. Reserves Frank Trier, Dotson, Bullock, and Brasdikis and Ignas. You know, there's so many different lineups that you can go with, you know. So many different lineups. There's a lot of stuff to think about, talk about. Now, I'm going to take one more phone call, then I'm going to get back to the video chat. All right? Caller, you're on live with Nothing But Knicks. What's poppin'?
How you doing, Sam? It's JJ. How's it going, man?
I'm good, man.
How's everything?
How you feeling?
Pretty good, thanks. So we're still giving grades from free agency and everything, or no?
Yeah. So what are your free agency grades? I haven't given my grades yet. But
I know earlier Guillermo said, oh, nobody else got Durant or Kyrie, so why is everyone bashing us? Because everyone said that's where they were going. You can't compare it to all the other teams, you know.
But see, here, so listen to what you just said, though. Listen to what you just said. Everybody said that's where we were going. Everybody is not the Knicks, though. That's everybody else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody else said that's where we were going, not necessarily the Knicks.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, if you told me, you know, during the season, everything, all the rumors, if you told me that the best player we were going to get was Julius Randle, I get why people are laughing at us. You know what I mean? I mean, that wasn't the goal.
No, that wasn't the goal. I mean, they're laughing at us. I mean, they're laughing but they're not laughing because, in my opinion, they're not laughing over the Knicks doing. You know what I mean? You know, they're laughing really over the media's doing. The media is the one who said we're getting all this and that and this and that. You know, the Knicks just said feel good. Yeah. They feel good that free agents want to play for the Knicks, but they didn't say that they were definitely getting this player or that player. But you know, well, what's your grade?
Like I said, considering what the goal was, I'll give it a C+. C+.
All right, so I think, again, you're looking at it in the context of KD and Kyrie.
Yeah, from that, I mean, I probably would have given it. Actually, I'll give it a C. I would have given it a B if that wasn't, you know, the expectation. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta just make it a little bit lower, just because of what the expectations were. If there were no expectations for superstars, I would give it probably a B. You know, but I think I'll give it a C+.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. And, you know, and my man Vince Vandro said Dolan fumbled the bag. I don't even know if Dolan was involved, bro. I mean, maybe he was.
What do you think?
I don't even know.
What do you think changed? Because something had to change during the season. Do you think it was the Durant injury that affect? You know, like why they probably changed their mind from what everyone was saying? At least maybe everyone just got it wrong. I don't know.
Honest with you. I think.
Do you think something changed?
Yeah, I think Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving talked and they spoke, and they probably had conversations about either Brooklyn and New York.
Yeah.
One of them.
You know what I think? One of the things I thought was after the injury, I think he felt like I'm probably not going to be the same player. So Brooklyn, it's in New York, but it's not. It's like going to the Mets over the Yankees or the Islanders over the Rangers. It's not the same. It's not the same pressure. So maybe he looked at it as like, oh, if I don't win in Brooklyn, I'm still going to be a king there because now our fans can make fun of the Knicks and this and that. You know what I'm saying? Like if he doesn't win as a Knick, they'll be like, oh, he's a failure. He was just another Knick bum. You get me?
Nah,
it's like a softer landing spot in a way, going to the Nets.
I feel that, and the Nets, and let's be honest, the Nets had more of a foundation in place. They had more things going. They had more things ready.
Yeah, I read something today that Sean Marks said Durant said he loves like the system they play and things like that, and the culture and everything. So it's true.
And I'm not entirely sold that the Nets are going to win a championship with KD and Kyrie. I'm not entirely sold on it, but they have, they have a better, at the moment they had a better foundation in place. So, yeah.
Yeah. Can I ask you one question?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just wondering because you have so much depth now, right? Like, say I'm looking at Knox and say Dennis Smith. Say they struggle again like they did last year. How do you? Because we're trying to win now, right? So how do you try and win now while not hurting the development of the young kids? Like if they're struggling, like maybe they lose minutes because there's other guys who can do the job now. You know what I'm saying? Like how do you do both at the same time?
Well, I mean, I think that I think the way that you do both at the same time is by trying to win basketball games, and they've got to earn their spot. Yeah. That's it. They got to earn their spot.
Right. So do you worry if Knox is struggling and shooting 30-something% again, like you're going to take the minutes away, from like maybe you play Morris more or, Brazdeikis. So how do you, not, hurt the development by maybe sitting him or not giving him as many minutes as last year?
Well, I mean, and I'm going to let you go. Then I'm going to answer your question. All right. I appreciate the call.
All right. Appreciate it, man.
Yep. And I think, the way that you develop the kids, obviously they have to play, but also making them earn their spot and earn their position is part of development. If you just give it to them just because, hey, you're Kevin Knox and you were drafted 9th, if you just give it to them just because of that, then you're doing them a disservice. Right? There's too many players that in the league, outside the league, guys playing in AAU and all that kind of stuff, who they get their position just because they have a name, right? Right, they go from they've been known in high school. They get on this certain AAU team and they're getting playing time just because of who they are, whether or not they earned it, whether or not they're actually playing up to par because they have a little bit more cachet to them. It goes right over into college and then the NBA. You can't give guys playing time just because of who they are, what they have done in the past. You got to base it on what they're doing now and what they're going to do in the future. You know what I'm saying? And, what they're doing now means a lot. If you're not playing well, you're not shooting well, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, then, hey, you might have to take a few minutes back. You take a few minutes back, you get in the gym, you get your shot right, you get this right, you get back out there and you play. If you're giving a guy 40, 35 minutes just because he's RJ Barrett, you might be doing that guy a disservice. You got to earn that. You got to earn that. You know what I'm saying? You got to get to a point in your career where, you earned the right to get 35 minutes just because you're RJ Barrett. If you've been in the league 5 years and you've been putting out so much production, it's like, this is RJ. He might be struggling, but he'll be able to get through. You got to earn that. And you got to let these guys earn it. If you give it to them just because it's a disservice and they're not going to get better, that's how you get them better. You make them earn it. Yeah, you're going to play them. You're going to play them. You're going to make sure they get minutes because they got to get it on the floor. And, that's how you let them know that they're earning it, because if they're just sitting on the bench rotting away, they don't know. But you get them on the floor and they perform a little bit. They get them more minutes. They get more minutes. They perform a little bit. They get more minutes. That's how they know that they're earning it. They get a little bit of taste of it on the floor. And then when you take it away from them, it hurts. So you use that. It's going to be a tough task for Fizdale. It is, without a doubt. It's going to be one of the toughest. It's going to be his toughest task as in this season so far. But I'm going to tell you what. I think Scott Perry is expecting the Knicks to at least at least fight for an 8th spot. At the very least, fight for an 8th spot. You know what I mean? And, you know, if not, they might be looking at Fizdale. So Fizdale has got to, you know, he's got to play like his job depends on it. I'm not saying that his job does depend on it, but I'm telling him to play like it depends on it, because I think Scott Perry wants to at least contend for an 8th spot, fight for it, be in the mix, be there, you know, and if, you know, if not, then people are going to start looking at Fizdale and say, hey, can you do the job? You know what I mean? So yeah, Fizdale, you know, he's got his work cut out for him with the group that he has right now. He definitely has his work cut out for him. You know, let me go ahead and get to the video chat, see what these guys talking about. We got some new people that just joined the chat. Of course, Nate got his hand up as usual. Nate always got his hand up. You know, but we got, you know, good number in the chat. Looks like Isaiah just joined the chat. Was that yeah, that's Isaiah. He's in the dark, ladies and gentlemen, because he knows you guys still looking at that video of me whooping that ass. I didn't want to have to say it like that, but I had to say it like that. You know. But let me get these guys over here. Viv, let me get to you, man. Talk to you for a minute.
What's going on, Tim?
What's going on, Viv? How you been? Hey, I'm sorry I missed you. I knew you was in DC. Hopefully I can catch you the next time.
Nah, it was me. Yeah, that was on me. I got tied up with a bunch of stuff. So
yeah, I know how to get busy, man. So right now we're doing off-season report cards. I haven't given my grade yet. I just been listening. We've been talking because I know there's a lot to go through. Well, I gave my grade for the draft. For right now we're doing free agency. What do you give the Knicks for free agency? What's your grade?
Well, I mean, I can't put incomplete, right? I got to give a letter, right?
I guess you could give incomplete if you wanted to.
I mean, it's incomplete because it really hinges on a lot of factors, right? The reason I'm saying that is because, you know, the real purpose of everybody that Perry signed, right, is to provide such a competitive, you know, culture per se, that it will elevate everybody else's game, right? It's going to elevate Knox. It's going to elevate Dennis Smith Jr. It's RJ, everybody, right? So, you know, if that happens, you know, that everybody markedly gets better by the end of the second year, then you can say that these free agent signings are quite successful. At the same time, you know, you also expect that many of these players, due to their flexible contracts, will also be shipped over the course of time. So, you know, if, let's say this, right, this one scenario, everybody develops the way, you know, we expect, exceeds our expectations, right? And we start trading some of the guys, you know, to basically as a favor to other teams, get some assets back.
Right.
That's A to me, right? If, you know, you're not able to trade them, but you can develop the guys, then you can maybe say, okay, it's a A-, B+, right? If you don't really see that development, or if it's like kind of like average, below average, to me, it's like a, you know, like a B-, C+, right? Where it really goes bad is if the team's record is kind of like where we are at this year, where, you know, instead of 17, maybe you get 22 wins. Then you're like, okay, what's the point of bringing everybody? Because, you know, now no one really got better, and you're kind of have to start from scratch again next year, right?
Right.
So then that really, you know, that is a big factor. And then, like the caller said, I think a couple callers ago, the fact that you got a bunch of people on 1+1 deals, you got those issues with like playing time, etc. The last thing you want is players not to have that, you know, competitive culture rub in, and then it just goes into like an ego to ego fight, and just you get a lot of complaining. That's the last thing you want. So it's really incomplete because there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of variables, and I guess really my issue with some of these pieces, you know, it first was probably the redundancy part. You know, when you have guys say, like, you know, you're doubling down Portis, Gibson, Randle. That's like 3 players who got a lot of minutes last year, right? Then you double down on, say, like Ellington. Then you also double down the point guard position with Payton. So, you know, I felt that there's a doubling down to an extent that probably it seemed a little bit excessive in my eyes. But Perry can prove me wrong with all these players, you know, lifting up everybody else. And if that happens, then you have a very successful offseason. But it also at the same time puts a lot of pressure on David Fizdale, and I may think maybe it's a little bit too much, pressure, because there's going to be he's going to have to coach this year. And he's going to have to figure out how to make these things work. And I think, I know he's a very personable coach. So to put him on the test it's going to be quite a big test in my opinion. But hey, I mean, that's the main reason I say it's complete. It's very, very hard to grade. I mean, in my opinion.
Okay, all right, I can respect that, because there is a lot, there's a lot of things, going on with the guys that we signed, and I'm not saying we signed superstars, but I am expecting that I expect us to do better than 22. But I agree. So I agree with you. If we end up doing like 22, is like, what happened, and then you got to look at Coach Fizz. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm expecting us to be at the very least 30-something wins, in the 30s.
Right. I mean, I would say anywhere between 32 to 34. Mm-hmm. I think if you double your win total, right, and you get the development, I don't think you can ask for much more than that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
But again, it's so many variables. You're making it really, really hard on coach.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be very hard on Fizz. Very hard.
And you got the whole stigma. They haven't really done damage control yet. With all these signings, so everyone's kind of stayed quiet. So it's very weird right now.
Okay.
But we'll see.
Right. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Let me see what Nate's talking about. Hold on, Nate. Let me get you unmuted. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, is my name on the bottom now?
Yeah, your name is on the bottom. Good job. See that? There you go. And I'm gonna have to kick Isaiah out because he don't have his name on the bottom. but go ahead, man. What's your grade for the Knicks and after you give yours, I'm gonna give mine. What's your grade? For free agency?
I'm gonna give it a solid B, and I'll tell you why. Obviously, the big prize was Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving or Kawhi or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. I think most Knicks fans knew out there that probably wasn't going to happen, just because the way the culture was right now, the fact that we lost, we were the worst team in the NBA. Like you said, you framed it very well. How the hell is a player that's on a championship team or in the championship going to go to the worst team in the NBA? I think a lot of us were just kind of caught in the moment and didn't realistically think that it was going to be possible. I think the Randle signing was huge. I like Julius Randle. At 24 years old, this guy can be an all-star. He really can. And, if he can get better defensively, this guy's going to be a complete all-around player. And I think he fits perfect in with this young mold of what we're trying to do. And then, honestly, we just added depth, man. I mean, we talked about it last year, when Knox went down, Trier was hurt at times, Mitch got hurt. Mm-hmm. We don't have anybody else to run with, and that's the reason why we lost a lot of games, is because our depth showed, and you got to have depth in the NBA to win. I mean, look at the Warriors. The Warriors run their starting five and to the ground, and then when they get hurt, they have nobody else to go to the bench. None of the other players, other than maybe Iguodala and Livingston, I mean, no one else really had any experience playing in tough games. So you got to have depth. And I think the Knicks are a lot better because of the depth. They added shooters, they added rebounders, they added some defenders. Not only that, but they got tougher guys. Like, I want to see Marcus Morris go against some of the big threes, because Marcus Morris is no slouch. He'll get into he'll get in your grill. Like, he'll make it uncomfortable for you. And I just think we got tougher. We got tougher, and we're deeper, and we're talented. I mean, we had an area of the four guys that we needed to address, and we did a really good job of addressing it.
Okay.
And I like the Payton signing. I think Payton could be the starter. I hope he is.
All right.
So, I mean, for what we could get, I think we did a great job.
All right. Sounds good. All right. All right, sounds good. I like your take on it. I like your take on it. I'm gonna come to Isaiah. Isaiah,
how you doing, sir?
I'm doing really, really good because I bust your grill the other day.
Listen, Sam. I am sick and tired of all these people. They're hitting me up, coming at me, talking about you trash. I want to play you. Listen, sir. I want to give everybody a warning. You get one joke on me, but then you're gonna catch these hands.
You should have.
Because I'm sick and tired.
Prepared, man.
We're gonna take it. We're gonna take it to MBK boxing because nobody want this work.
You should have.
Especially.
You should have came better prepared. Like,
listen.
Whoa, wait a minute. You shouldn't have went to Mission Barbecue the day before and had a whole slab of ribs. A whole bunch of pulled chicken, macaroni and cheese, and expect you was gonna come out and be able to play ball. Come on, man.
Listen, hold on.
Come on, man.
See, let me tell you. Listen, let me tell everybody something. Listen, I was at this man's house for 3 days. I know this man better than everybody on this chat. Let me tell you, his son tricked me into. They worked together to trick me to eat barbecue the day of the game.
Hey, nobody told you. Look, he's in the chat too, so he knows you lying. He's in the chat.
Listen, Joe, you are a trickster, a deceiver. I was bamboozled. I was hoodwinked. They made me eat barbecue. The barbecue was delicious, by the way. I didn't have a rack of ribs.
Yeah, listen.
I had 3 ribs. Listen.
This man went and had a whole rack of ribs and expect he's gonna come out and be able to play basketball.
Sim, I am sick of everybody hitting me up. Next person that hits me up, I am going to beat their ass. I repeat, next person, especially that tall guy right there, Guillermo. Gilbert's been talking the most stuff, and I'm sick of Guillermo. When Guillermo heals up, I want to face him one-on-one. I'm issuing the challenge right now.
Man, I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say, Isaiah, for real.
Listen, Stem. We're not gonna record the next one, but just know.
Why not?
Just know.
Why not? Why we not gonna record the next one?
I don't want to embarrass you, Stem. You got a wife. You got a wife. You got kids. I don't want to embarrass you in front of them. I didn't want. I went easy on you.
Okay.
I didn't want to embarrass you in front of your wife and kids. They allowed me into the house. I could not as a man, Stem, I cannot beat you and you have a wife and kid. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I don't have kids. I can't do it, Sim. You got people looking up to you. I don't want people to feel embarrassed for you. I give you a give me, Sim, because I'm that kind of guy.
All right. I'm gonna let you think that. You know what I'm saying? Just, because I'm gonna let you think that so you can feel confident about yourself and all that good stuff. Look, I'm gonna show you guys just a little bit of promo. This is just a quick little promo. All right.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, nothing. I'm just a quick little promo. You guys can see exactly. For those who did not get a chance to see the video, you can go on YouTube. You can see the video. But here's a quick promo of just what I was doing to Isaiah. I was cracking this dude. I was cracking him, ladies and gentlemen. So this is just a quick little promo. Check it out. Yeah, it was bad. If I can get it to play, let me see if I can get it to play.
The video's alive, America. The video's alive.
I'm gonna have to reset it. I'll get it to play right quick. The video's not a lie, ladies and gentlemen. I was busting this man, and he was breathing hard. He didn't know what to do.
Oh.
He didn't know what to do.
No, listen, I know this got everybody in the chat going crazy. Everybody been talking about this video for the last, but I'm telling everybody, I'm the can man. Remember that. Anybody can get it. Americans, Puerto Ricans, African Americans.
All right,
my God.
Do me a favor. Tell me what your grade is. What's your grade? What's your grade, man? What's your grade?
The next off season?
That's all I want to know. What's your grade right now?
I'll give him a B+.
Okay, so why B plus?
Because I think look, everybody on ESPN are climbing the Knicks and they're talking about the Knicks. I'm watching videos on YouTube of like sports analysts and they're starting to give the Knicks an F because for some odd reason, even though Scott Perry never came out and said it, the expectation were the Knicks to get Kevin Durant when the Knicks front office never once said that they're getting these guys. They never said that. They have constantly said that they're going to stay the course and do what's right by the team, which is a slow, grinding rebuild. And they picked up a lot of guys that are serviceable, that are, to me, C to B list players that you need. These are really high. We got a lot of high-end role players, and we talked about it before, what Scott Perry is going to do during the February trade deadline. They're going to flip a lot of these guys and get asked. The good thing is that we got a lot of teams don't have enough role players, like, for example, the Lakers, the Clippers, and all these other teams. And the Knicks pretty much got all the good high-end role players for cheap deals, and the Knicks are gonna flip. Scott Perry's gonna flip them. These were smart moves. They got the right guys in the locker room. They got Taj Gibson, who's a leader. That's gonna be no nonsense. You got Marcus Morris. There's no nonsense. You got a lot of these guys that have been on winning teams and know how to win and show these young guys what to do. Now, the hard part is going to be for David Fizdale to find a balance of player development and trying to win. That's going to be the hardest part of the season. But what the Knicks did is give them the opportunity to be great. So, I give them a B plus because we didn't land the big fish, but we got the body shots in, and we're going to be fine. I honestly think we can win 40-something games. I think we could be this year's Clippers. I really do believe that.
Okay.
With David Fizdale.
This is what I'm gonna do. I like your analogy of the body shots. You know what I mean? I do like that analogy because that's adding some of the guys we added. That's like if you it's like throwing some body shots. But I want to show this video. Now, it's just a little 1 minute and 30-second promo. I'm gonna show this video right quick, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I did to Isaiah. Here we go. And it was bad, folks.
Take me pay that champion joint off.
Don't make me like Mike, baby. You see these?
The CDs, them ain't even mics no more.
Don't worry about them. They're mics. They're Isaiah's.
What are those?
Don't even do that.
What is that?
Don't worry about it.
That's the Ross Jordans.
Don't worry about it.
He said that's
the Ross Stores Jordans.
Ball for less.
Listen.
Dress for less, ball for less.
This is the key. This is the secret. I've been waiting to pull this out.
Hold up. Does he have he don't got no lace part to put it through the hole.
What's that? Don't worry about it.
What's that?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Listen, these are secrets. These are the keys. Watch this.
That's Kobe move right there. KB 24 on that.
See, y'all hear that man breathing hard. He couldn't stop breathing. He was breathing hard. He couldn't walk. I'm telling you, man. I'm just trying to tell you. I'm just trying to tell you.
Look, hold on. Listen,
what?
Can I defend myself? Because you got videos, studios. I don't know what you got.
Man, defend yourself.
I don't know what you got.
This is the last time you're getting a chance to defend yourself.
I was injured.
Oh, gosh. Here we go.
Look, hold on, Sim. Hold on. You know what I didn't tell you, Sim? You know what I didn't tell you? Let me tell you what happened.
What?
Can I tell you the story?
Yeah, go ahead.
Look, when I was leaving my hotel, this group of guys came out and they was like, "Yo, you Isaiah?" I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" They was like, "Okay, we part of the crew," and they had bucket hats. That's how I knew they was part of the crew. So they started tripping me. They started kicking me in the back of my knee. Look, I didn't want to tell you because I knew it came from you. So that's why I was like, all right, he must be trying to play. I took them all down, though. I knocked them all out, but I got hit. I got hurt. And I got hit in my back and my knee. My back and my knee got hurt.
Okay. All right.
And when we played the game, I was sore, but I still won. So look, I won the mental battle. I want everybody to know this. I won the mental battle because you know what it is? I got you exactly where I want you. People, you think you're winning, but I'm going to win. Watch.
Okay. All right, anyway,
I'm winning this, man.
You can see the entire video. The video is what, 12 minutes long. You can see the entire video, and it's 12 minutes of me just straight whipping Isaiah's ass.
First of all, I don't get my ass whooped. I ain't get my ass whooped since I was 2 years old. Well, and that's when I started some candy.
He was 2 years old that night because I took off the belt and wha pop.
Listen.
But anyway, I'm gonna let you recover. I'm gonna come around to some other people, man. I'm gonna let you recover. And I'm
don't go to JaVale McGee because he been laughing all night, and he new to the chat. Don't come to JaVale McGee.
I'm gonna go ahead and give my grade. I'm gonna give my grade.
And tell Guillermo he can get it too when he gets held up. I don't care.
Guillermo's hurt, man. Guillermo won't be able to play.
I got jumped. You don't see me crying. I got jumped on Saturday by the Sin Gang. You don't see me crying.
Man, shut this guy up real quick. Anyway, I give the Knicks a B for free agency. I give him a B. And I, too, put it in the context of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. But differently than everybody else. The reason why I put it in the context of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving is because if that was the plan A, which I'm pretty sure was plan A, at least to get Kevin Durant and probably Kyrie Irving, that was plan A. But they didn't get plan A. It didn't go the Knicks' way. So they had to pivot. And when they pivoted, they were smart when they pivoted. Right? They were smart. They pivoted from Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. They went in a new direction. And when they went in that new direction, they signed a guy in Julius Randle that's a young guy that fits how you want to play, the type of game you want to play, fits your age range. And they still signed him to a short-term contract. And then the other guys, we went over all the other guys. We went over everybody. They signed in the short-term contracts, right? Smart, veteran guys that play defense that can shoot the basketball. All right, they're taking a flyer on Elfrid Payton, hoping that he's ready to turn the corner in his career and prove that he can be a long-time starter in the NBA. I get it. And so, yeah, it is, for me, it's still in the context of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, but not the way that everyone else takes in this as it's negative because the Knicks didn't get them and Brooklyn did. I'm not comparing me and Mark. If you guys know who's Mark, we had a big thing about because the Knicks didn't get Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. And he was so worried about Brooklyn. He went to Brooklyn. That's why I'm mad, because he went to Brooklyn. He could have went any place else, and I wouldn't really care that much, but he went to Brooklyn. And I think it is very poor. And I'm glad that Scott Perry and Steve Mills are not basing everything that they do on Brooklyn, and they shouldn't. That's smart. That's the best thing that they can do. Don't base it on Brooklyn. And there's so many people that I see say, well, Brooklyn got, they're the ones who got Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving and da-da-da-da-da. So what? That's what I say. So what? They got them. Cool. Kudos to them. We have our own plan. We have our own way. And that's what we're going to do with it. We're going to execute our plan. And it was very clear to me that Scott Perry had a plan and went out and executed that plan. And executed that plan very well, in my opinion, when it did not go the way that they wanted it to go. So to me, they did a good job. Still based in the context of KD and Kyrie, they did a good job. They had themselves set up for the future. Everything is is set up for 2021 so that they can at least have a chance to sign a big name if that's what their plan is in 2021. So I give them a B in free agency. So far, I think the Knicks have done well this offseason. Now let's get to the Summer League. Well, actually, I do want to talk to Nick. I'll give Nick, when we're talking about the Summer League, I'll give Nick a chance to jump in and chime in on free agency because he had some things that he wanted to say about taking on contracts. And I wanted to talk about that a little bit. But now let's talk about the Summer League. Because after free agency was, of course, the Summer League. We got a chance to see R.J. Barrett. We got a chance to see Iggy, and then we got a chance to see how some of our young guys have been working. Mitch Robinson, Kevin Knox, Alonzo Trier, Frank Ntilikina didn't play in the Summer League. I wish that he would have. I guess we'll get a chance to see him sometime in August when he plays for the French national, the French national team. But the Summer League. Well, I think the Knicks, and this did come from the Knicks. I think the Knicks wanted to win the Summer League, right? And not that it's important that they didn't win it. Doesn't mean anything. They went 2-3 on the Summer League. I think they could have and should have been better. Shout out to the Memphis Grizzlies for winning the Summer League, although John Morant didn't play. What did I wanted to see in the Summer League? I wanted to see them play hard. The first game against New Orleans, I think they came out and they were playing hard. As a matter of fact, most of the games that they played in, they came out and they built the lead, double-digit leads, but they couldn't hold them. But they came out and they played hard. I think I don't know what it was, why they couldn't hold the league in Summer League. Why they couldn't hold the lead, I don't know if it was because they were playing some other guys or what, but they didn't hold the lead. I didn't like the fact that, especially in the beginning of Summer League, they were getting killed on screen and rolls. The defense wasn't that good. They were getting smacked in the screen and roll. Guys were dunking on them down the lane, easy. Getting in the lane and getting easy buckets. They had such trouble guarding that screen and roll, and that really bothered me. That really, really bothered me. You gotta be better. You gotta be better in that screen and roll. Now, and then the question is it just because they were young, or is it coaching? Like Knickerbocker is saying, is it coaching? Which one is it? Why is it that we're having such problems covering that screen and roll? Because look, let's face it, the Summer League is that's when you start to put your system in. That's when you start to put in at least philosophies and principles of your system. It may not be the entire system, but it's principles. And you start to work on those principles. I want to know what the Knicks screen and roll principle is. That's what I want to know. Because we got killed on it last year. And people are going to say, well, we had Enes Kanter, but Enes Kanter did better in other systems, and we'll see how he does in Boston. Then we'll know if it was Kanter or if it was the Knicks. But I feel like the Knicks maybe, I don't know. I feel like it's their scheme. We're going to see a lot of switching from the Knicks this year. We'll see how that works. That's the kind of team that they're building, a team that switches on defense. It could be a positive. It could be a negative. It could be a positive because you can switch everything, and it makes it harder for guys to be able to penetrate because you're switching. But then you can also get confused if you don't know, if guys aren't communicating the right way. So I don't know. The defense wasn't great. It wasn't great at all. R.J. Barrett got off to a slow start, and, there's reasons behind that. I think he started to play better, as he went deeper into the Summer League. We missed Alonzo Trier after the first game, because he's definitely a source of scoring. Kevin Knox, I thought Kevin Knox, he played well in the beginning. He started to play, he would play well and then he would fade away. So we still seen him fade away from the game. At the end, he was more aggressive. So maybe he recognized and people told him, hey, you're fading away again. You're not there. You're fading away from the game. Maybe he started to recognize that, or people recognized it and told him. He does look bigger. He does look stronger. He's learning how to use that shoulder when he goes to the basket. Boom, knock people out the way. So we did see some things, but I thought there was, something left to be desired from Summer League. And, for a team that had a bunch of second-year players on it. Let me see. We had 1, 2, 3, at least 3 second-year players on it. Kadeem Allen's been in the league forever. The Summer League. You would expect a little bit more. But it is, Summer League. I seen someone in the chat say, it's Summer League. I guess it's Summer League. I mean, does it concern you, though, that we had possibly 3/5 of our starting five in the Summer League and we didn't win? Or is that going to be 3/5 of our starting five? Maybe only one of those guys are going to start. I don't know. It's still up in the air. We'll see. Let me get over here to the video chat. You can call in and talk to me, 516-405-2246. Again, I want to thank everybody for coming over to these platforms and joining me. And if everybody wants to be in the chat, jump on to the twitch.tv/nothingbutnicks. Then everyone can be in the same chat. Right now it's still kind of cool. We got Facebook, we got Twitter, we got Twitch going. So it's still kind of cool, and we still got people in the chats and talking. So big shout out to everyone on all the platforms: Twitch, Twitter, Facebook. Big shout out to everybody, and we got people in each one of them. So that's a good thing, man. That's a good thing. I like it. But if you want to call in, 516-405-2246. Give me a call. And I want to get your take on Summer League and what you think about Summer League. I know we just did a Summer League wrap up, but we're going to wrap it up again. All right, so let me get to the video chat, see what these guys think. All right, and I'm going to start with Guermo. All right, we're going to start with Guermo, see what Guermo thinks about Summer League. Guermo, I'm coming to you, man. All right, let me mute Nate. And it looks like, let me put this up big first. I'm going to put this up big because Isaiah, that looks like you. I think, Nick, are you drawing? That looks like you, Isaiah. And it looks like how sad you was looking on the basketball court, too. Yeah. Go ahead. Guermo, I'm coming to you, Guermo. I'm coming to you, man. Hey, Guermo, what's good, man?
What's good, Sam? How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good.
So we talking strictly about Summer League?
Yeah, we're on the Summer League.
So what I liked, what I would grade it, I would grade it a solid B. And this is why I say I like what I saw at the end from RJ in terms of what they implemented with him, not necessarily him coming on with scoring or any of that. I love what I saw from Iggy. He showed that he could be a really good role player starting out. Give him a solid 20 minutes starting out. Tell him to hit 1 or 2 threes a game, play good defense, good rebounding, things like that. I like what I saw in terms of guys committing. I like what I saw from, even though he was up and down, I like the fact that Kadeem Allen at 26, 27 years old, didn't think that he was above Summer League and played for us. Just to show like, hey, look, I'm committed to what Coach Fizdale's trying to do in terms of his vision. I love that. Mitchell Robinson. Mm-hmm. So the things that I was a little disappointed with, Mitch Robinson not taking any shots. They keep talking about his threes and he keeps talking it up, but this was a perfect time for him to literally get something in game time wise, right? Just take the three. It doesn't matter if it's a air ball that misses, 15 feet out, 27 feet out, and you shoot it and it's like 10 feet away from the basket. Who cares? Shoot the shot. We need you to be somewhat potent on offense, or give us something on offense. So when you're near the foul line or at the 3-point line, it's not the just normal give and go kind of handoff offense that we all seen you do. You know what I mean? So we know what you can do on defense. You already shown that. You can do on the pick and roll offense. We already seen that. Again, me and you talked about this with Frank. I still take up the side that I'm disappointed that Frank didn't play for us. I take it that even if you're good in the NBA, say Frank pans out, he's great in the NBA, I think France will forgive him because it'd be like, hey, look, you're doing what you have to do for the team, and look, you're good now, so we're going to pick you up whenever you play in the Olympics or these FIBA games, whatever. I was a little disappointed in that because, if Kadeem Allen could do it, I think Frank should have shown that, hey, look, I'm committed to the team and committed to what Fizzo's trying to implement, and I'm here to kind of, adapt, and he needs to adapt right now. As much as we like him, he needs to adapt. So all in all, I thought it was a B. I would have liked to see a little bit more from Amir Hinton. Some of these G League guys, give him some more time because, again, these games are kind of meaningless. So I would have liked to see more minutes from him in the later games. I know the win is nice, but again, these are meaningless games. So yeah, just a little. And I heard the Wilkes kid. He said he was sick. This probably doesn't affect my grade, but I heard that he said he was sick. But then someone said that he's taking like hundreds of selfies and stuff, which stuff like that just kind of rubs me the wrong way. So again, these guys are probably going to start in the G League. Oh, they're most likely going to start in the G League. Probably are going to start in the G League. But all in all, a B. Maybe a B plus if RJ was put in the point guard position early on just to experiment. But all in all, a solid B. I like what I saw.
Okay.
From some of the guys. I also like what I saw from Knox too. I thought Knox being more aggressive, driving to the basket, a little bit more leverage and using his strength, rebounding. The Knox thing, ESPN kills us, but they don't show the number of possessions where Knox looked like a kind of like a grizzled vet driving to the basket, using his elbows to kind of create space and perfectly hitting off the backboard. So I like what I saw, man.
Now, one thing that I do want to clear up, and I still got you live, Guillermo. I do want to clear this up. When Alonzo Trier went out after the first game, he didn't play the second game. He was sick. I guess there were somebody somewhere in the Knicks universe put out there that Alonzo Trier was, he didn't play because he was drunk the night before, and he was sick and all that. He was sick because he was drunk. And I want to clear it up because I actually got a text from somebody close to Alonzo Trier. If people don't know, there is people from Alonzo Trier's family that do come into our chat every once in a while. And she wanted it to be very clear that Alonzo Trier was legitimately sick. And that's the reason why he did not play. And just wanted to really quell those rumors, that he was out drinking and all that kind of stuff. And that's the reason why he was not able to play. So I just want to put out there and kind of quell those rumors. He is legitimately sick with a fever, and his throat is hurting badly, and it's nothing to do with alcohol, as someone indicated that he was hungover. So I wanted to clear that up because you don't want that kind of stuff to get out if it's not true. You don't want that kind of stuff to get out about the young man. You know what I mean?
Right, and it seems from Alonzo Trier, even though again we talked about this, the ISO basketball over dribbling, that stuff kind of hurt. But then when I saw the quote where he said that guys aren't playing in the summer league, I was really happy with when he said it because we talked about this. I felt the same way, and I think that I don't know how far it goes in terms of him changing his personality or his persona, whatever. Because we heard about the alleged fights or incidents last year, but a guy who's shown that hey, look, the so-called lowest form of basketball for these guys, you're not above it. I'm not above it. None of these guys are really above it unless you're a superstar or a veteran in the game. That kind of shows like hey, like he's not this. This guy who's just in the game for the fame and the money, or at least on the surface, that's what it seems. So I'm happy he said that. And the whole drunk thing, I'm happy that, you're able to clear that up because, again, people will run with it. This is the type of stuff that it might trickle on Twitter and then it might trickle into even in an ESPN personality. How ESPN loves to gas up stories without checking their homework. And then all of a sudden, or they might build this up and say we trade Trier or there's an incident later on that has nothing to do with this. And they'll tie this and say, well, there was early on in Summer League, it was heard that Alonzo Trier was drinking, before game, blah, blah. And how they like to kill the Knicks. So
right.
But it's very, very good that you cleared that up. And, if he's sick, he's sick, So
yeah.
It just sucked that we couldn't see him play. And I would love to see him play and see if he changed that ISO game because, again, the last two games, I understand we played the Lakers, who whatever, and then the Wizards. and it seemed like a different type of brand of basketball amongst everybody, right? I mean, the Lakers game, it was just that Knox and RJ got hot, but in that last game, there's a lot more movement. It seemed like a more fluid form of basketball, and I would love to see if Trier could adapt this game, because look, Sim, if Trier can adapt this game, we have another option at the 1 guard. You have another option you can put at times at the 2 guard, and so you can play around this game. At times you're going to need him to score, at times you're going to need him to facilitate and be a scoring threat at the same time, but facilitate off that scoring threat. So I would have loved to seen him come in and adapt and be that more of a versatile player. But, it is what it is. We'll see him in preseason, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll get a chance to see him in preseason. All right, Grumman, I'm going to come over here to Nick. And then my man, he still has guest on his name. If you could, get him, if someone.
Oh Lord, don't let Sim kick you out, man. Change your name, man.
Get him to put his name on there. You know what I mean? So because I don't know who, I'm not sure of his name. I forgot his name already. Nick, I'm coming to you, man.
Me or Nick?
Nick G. You.
All right.
Yeah. So, what was your take on Summer League?
My take on Summer League, man, it's similar to Gamble, man. I was impressed, and look, I'm the person that I really don't care about year 1 stuff. Like last year was year 1. This is year 2. To me, when we hired Fizdale, I was all about a 5-year plan.
Okay.
And like for me, when I listen to Fizdale speak, and when I look at the team and stuff, I want to see gradual, consistent progression. Like the way Kevin Knox played, man, that's so inspiring, man. Like that kind of jump, that kind of confidence he played with, it's why he was a top 10 pick, and everyone. We all gravitate, at least with the way how the news cycle is, everyone gravitates to this. If it's not hot like day 1, everyone drops it. Like Zion has to have a great game day 1. Let's say Zion only scored 5 points his first game at the Knicks. Everyone would say he's a bust. And people are already starting to say he's a bust because he didn't play the rest of the games. Like, RJ Barrett, everyone was saying he's a bust. And then after that, the kid started to improve every single game. He got a double-double every single game. So it's not about day 1, man. It's all about what can you do at the end of the season. I love the fact that they progressively grew. Like these kids, they're growing. I hope Alonzo Trier grows too, but like, man, I'm just happy with what I've seen. Even if you say like they didn't win Summer League because of the coaching made them improve every single game.
That's true. That is true. Yep. That is.
And these guys hadn't played in a long time, much less played with each other, all of them, in a long time.
Yeah. That's definitely true. The coaching, and you could see the coaching. You could see the development throughout each game. They get a little bit more continuity, a little bit more chemistry. You could definitely see that. So there was definitely, some coaching going on. Although I am still concerned about the pick and roll stuff. Hopefully it's just because they hadn't played together. Summer League, they haven't played together.
On the defensive end?
On the defensive end, yeah. Yeah, I feel like I just feel like we struggled in that category, in that area, in the pick and roll defense throughout Summer League. It got a little bit better towards the end, but I still felt like we struggled.
So do you the way I saw it, like they, at least with RJ, he struggled with the concept of hedging. And Mitch does that too. He always goes after the block. He doesn't look to contain the play sometimes. So like Kevin Knox gambled a lot and reached out for passes he didn't need to reach out for. They didn't communicate a lot off the hedge, and you want like a floor general that would like whip guys into place, and this is where Taj Gibson comes into that will play a big role, because the best hedger or the best teacher of the hedge was Tom Thibodeau. So him being so experienced in the hedge concept of containing pick and roll, he could teach guys a lot. but we got to see it. It's going to take training camp. It's going to take guys getting in shape. It's going to take guys, it's going to take a lot, man. It's not going to be day one.
No, I agree with you, definitely. And I like what you said about that Tom Thibodeau, man, with Taj Gibson coming from that school of Taj Thibodeau type of defense, that mentality, that hard nose. I really do like that. And he'll be able to help these guys. That's the one thing I'll say. Last year, we didn't have veterans that was going to really help the young guys to be able to play defense, understand what they needed to do, and just be hard-nosed, good defenders with a strong mentality. This year, we got guys that can help those guys. So, I'm excited about having those guys there. I would have liked to see, does it bother you at all that, possibly definitely three rotation guys were in Summer League and, we didn't perform better from the beginning? I mean, who knows what would have happened in the Pelicans game?
Yeah, but you see, the thing is that, okay, like the Pelican game, we started to come back too. Like RJ pressed the first two games. He was finding himself. Like if RJ played the way he played in the Laker game in game one, calm, cool, collected, I'm running the show, I'll make decisions with the ball. Who's to say what happened? Because to me, Kadeem Allen, that first game, he didn't play a good point guard game. Like to me, he didn't run the show like, I'm the experienced one, go where I tell you to go, and I'll direct the show. And then even with that, like they gained continuity as Summer League went on. And this is just guys they pick off the scrap heap, and then also guys that they just coming back together. Like it's not like these guys were practicing defensive concepts between the end of the season to now. Like it's different, and I think that they could get it. They will get it over time. And then who's to say that what Brad Stevens taught Morris, he can't bring that into the fold, and they could add something to a Tom Thibodeau type defense. Like there's so much experience coming in. Like Reggie Bullock also played for Stan Van Gundy. Mm-hmm. Like it's so much coming in, and you just got to think about it. Heck, Elfrid Payton played for a very good offensive coach. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of experience to bring on to these young guys, and I hope they embrace that mentorship role. That's the big thing. They have to embrace that role.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I definitely agree with you. Let me get to a couple of these guys. Let me get to Sandy, then I'm gonna come down to you, Nate, because I know Sandy hasn't spoken in a little while. Sandy, go ahead.
Hey, what's going on? Yeah, I mean, I never cared about the wins and losses in the Summer League. Mm-hmm. I just cared about seeing improvement, and we saw that, so I'm happy with the outcome. Kind of sucks the way game one ended. We'll never know if we would have won that one, but
right.
It didn't really matter. But, they improved. I think my biggest disappointments with Summer League was, Trier getting sick and Wilkes not being there at all. I was also confused why Frank was actually in Vegas, yet didn't play. I mean, I guess it's kind of like the NBA, and you set a roster and you're stuck with that roster the whole time. That seems kind of stupid for the Summer League, but I know for a fact I saw a few pictures of him with the team in Vegas during the games.
He was definitely there.
So that upset me a little that he was there and he didn't play. I mean, he's a guy that really, he really needs to get his act together and prove that he should be at least in the rotation. He needed the minutes, and he wasn't there. I don't know if that's on him, if that's on management, but I would have liked to see him play.
Yeah, and we don't know the background story behind him, playing in France or playing for his national team, and how it impacted him playing Summer League. I don't know. I would have liked to see him play though.
As far as Allen, I think some people had very high expectations, or were talking like maybe Kadeem could even be the starter. And he just there were times when he didn't run the offense well, and right. I think that really squashed any talk of that. So that's kind of good because that, it's not always about players stepping up. It's also about players being pushed early on, kind of out of even maybe contention. So that may help things move along. I didn't hear this rumor about Trier. That's the first I'm hearing it.
It was something.
Did that rumor start after he had kind of trash talked players not playing, or was it prior?
No, it was the day when he was sick. It started. It was then. So.
Okay, so it's been out there since the beginning because he was one of the guys that were very vocal about draft picks not playing in the summer league.
Right. So,
which it probably would have been better off he didn't say that, considering he didn't play much either. So it's not like he could even.
Yeah, but he was going to play. His intentions were to play. Some of these other guys didn't even have the intentions to play. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and that is. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, that's where all sports are going now. I mean, look at this year's football. I mean, so many of the really good players sat out for the bowl games.
Yeah.
And because they didn't, they just don't want to risk it anymore. They're not being paid. A little different with the summer league because now they're here at the big show, and you would think they'd really want to impress.
Right. Yeah, it's their first introduction to professional basketball, but they all have their agents and people in their corners telling them this, that, the other thing. So yeah, I get it. Yeah. And Nate, let me hear what you got to say, man, and then we're gonna start. I'm gonna give my offseason, my summer league grade, and then we're gonna start talking about what's next. We're gonna talk about that. What's next for the Knicks? And then, we'll head off. So, Nate, what's your grade for the summer league, man?
Yeah, I'd probably give him a solid C+. I think the expectations were a lot higher for this team because of who we're bringing on the summer league roster. I mean, 3 starters, possibly, second-year guys. I think they expected us to really, do really well in the summer league, and expectations just didn't have it that way. Also, too, the defense, I agree with you, man. Not only pick and roll defense, but I felt like our rotations could have been a lot better. We gave up way too many open threes, especially when we were trying to get back in the game. Like that Pelicans game, one thing I've noticed with this young team is when they don't score the ball, they don't defend. And you can't have that. You have to be, if you're not scoring the ball, you sure as hell better be defending the other team. And at least keeping the score manageable, but they weren't scoring, and they weren't getting back on defense, and they weren't rotating right. And so I felt like that was a big reason why we lost a couple of those games, because our defenses got lazy. We started off strong, and then we started fouling, making stupid fouls, and, not getting rotations right, letting our guys in front go past us, stuff like that. So that's why I give it a C+. I think there was definitely room for improvement. We probably should have been a lot better. We should have made the playoffs as far as the summer league. Like I joked around with you, Team China did better than us, I think, or they made the playoffs or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And that's just comical in my opinion. I mean, no disrespect to Team China, but I mean, you're talking about, we got a bunch of starters on this summer league roster, and Team China beat us.
Well, let me tell you, I don't know who was on Team China's team, but sometimes they have American players that's been around for a little while. Sometimes.
But it wasn't Yao Ming. Let's put it that way. So I don't know who was on there, but you get what I'm saying. I mean, the expectation should have been a lot higher.
Okay. All right. And I'm gonna go ahead and give. I'm glad that Nate has his name. It took a new platform. Hey, Nate, what platform are you on?
I don't know.
Oh,
I'm still on the PRN.
Okay, you're on the appearance, so you're not watching on any other platform. You're not on Twitter.
I was watching on that whatever it's called, Twitch TV. Twitch.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
There you go.
All right. Cool. All right. Now I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys my grade for the summer league and what I think we deserve for the summer league. And I'm basing this on what the Knicks said that they want to do. Right? The Knicks said that they want to. They came out and clearly said that they wanted to win the Summer League. And from the beginning of game one, it looked like they were serious. Besides Zion, he had 11 points in however many minutes, 9 minutes or something like that before he went out. They looked like it. They came out hooping. They came out balling. But obviously they couldn't keep it up. There's a few defensive things here and there. It's cool. It is what it is. But I gave them a C+. And the reason why I gave them a C+ is, one, because of the context of, the fact that they wanted to win Summer League. They wanted to win the championship. That was one of their goals, and they didn't accomplish it. I know a lot of people don't put a lot of stock into Summer League. I put a little bit more than maybe some other people because I like to get that. I like to get the taste of winning in the players' mouths. That's me. I like them to get that taste, and that, that little bit of hunger for winning, because we had, you got Mitchell Robinson, Kevin Knox, Alonzo Trier, RJ Barrett, Ignaz Brazdeikis. All of those guys are on the roster. That's like 1/3, 2/3, 1/3 of your roster right there. That's 1/3 of your roster. And I want these guys to get a taste of winning. And the fact that they said that they wanted to win it, I put a little stock in that. I didn't like the defense all the time. I thought that they did hustle. They played hard. They went through, up and down. They were kind of up and down with the playing hard. I did see them relax sometimes. But I wanted to see, I like to win. And it has to start someplace. But I get it. I'm not tripping and bugging or thinking that we're going to have a bad season or a horrible season because we didn't win Summer League. The end all be all doesn't mean much. But I didn't like the defense. I didn't like the pick and roll defense. Although I did see them develop throughout Summer League. So C+ I think is fair from me. And then as a final grade for the offseason, my final grade, as soon as I get it over here, is a B. I think that's a decent final grade. When you take all of everything into consideration, and if you average out the draft, which is an A, free agency, which is a B, Summer League, which is a C+, it ends up being about a B. Not a bad offseason for the Knicks. I think it's an offseason where the Knicks, established themselves as in my opinion, as a competent organization. An organization that is able to maintain and is able to pivot nicely, is able to adjust on the fly, or they're just prepared to adjust. So I think they established themselves as a competent, a pretty competent executive team, which I think free agents will look at and say, hey, they're doing something right over there. That's what I think. That's big to me. That's big to me. That the Knicks were able to establish themselves, as a functioning organization. And when I listen on TV and stuff, and I hear people continue to say that it's a pit fire and all this stuff, a dumpster fire and all that, it's garbage. That means that they're just saying stuff, to try to get a rise out of people. I feel good. Again, I give the Knicks a B. I'm giving the Knicks a B for the offseason as a final grade. Again, you can see for the draft, they got an A. Free agency, a B. Summer League, a C+. Final grade is a B. And I think that's pretty fair. I would say a B is pretty good. They took steps forward. They should be a better team next year. And then the following year, they can get even better. So that's what I got it, ladies and gentlemen. Final grade for the New York Knicks, a B for the entire offseason. Now it's time to start looking at what's next. Where do we go from here? How do we move forward? And we'll be quick with this We'll probably do an entire show on just what do the Knicks do next to move forward. As a matter of fact, I'll be on Friday night. I'll be streaming Friday night at 10:30. So make sure you join me. All right, at 10:30, I'll be live, and we'll talk about what do the Knicks do to move forward. But just briefly, real quick, in my opinion, now it's time for Fizdale to start strategizing with the roster that we have. Scott Perry and Steve Mills, obviously their job is to look at moves that can happen going forward. Right? That's their job, and they should always be doing that. And then the players, they've got to continue to develop. The young players, they've got to continue to develop. And I'd like to see the older players start to reach out to some of these young guys, and maybe these guys get together, start playing some ball together somewhere, and just kind of talk about the structure and the culture of the organization. That's something that I would like to see from this group moving forward for the remainder of the summer. We got the remainder of July, you got August, and then in September, they really start coming back. But during this time, especially the young guys, they need to be working now. They got to be getting stronger. They got to be getting ready. Guys like Taj Gibson, Wayne Ellington, they've been around the block a little while. I'm pretty sure they're still staying in shape, but they've been around the block a little bit. Taj has probably reached the peak of his powers. He's gonna be staying in shape just so he can stay relevant in the league. But if they're gonna do it, I like to see these guys get together, man. Somebody step up, start to be the leader. Maybe that's Taj Gibson. Hopefully it's probably will be Taj Gibson. Step up and start to be the leader. Marcus Morris, start to be the leader. Bring guys together and let's start really building and developing that chemistry going into next season. That's what I want to see for the rest of the season. But we'll talk about some of this stuff in more depth on Friday. And again, if you're on Twitch and you haven't followed me, please follow me right now. If you're on Twitter, you don't follow me right now. If you're on Facebook, you're on the Nothing But Knicks Facebook page. Like it, follow it. If you're on Twitter and Twitch, follow me on Facebook. If you're on Facebook and Twitter, follow me on Twitch. If you're on Twitter and Facebook, follow me on Twitch. Or everybody, just do what you got to do. And then, of course, you can always subscribe to me on YouTube. This video will be uploaded to YouTube, and it'll premiere tomorrow at 10 a.m. So you'll be able to get on tomorrow at 10 a.m., and you'll be able to chat with people from YouTube. I can't live stream, but I can premiere. And premiering is almost like live streaming. And anybody who gives a super chat during the live stream, I'm going to take those super chats and answer them in a totally separate video. So there we go. I'm going to get back to the chat. If you want to call in, you better hurry up because I only got about 10 minutes left and I'm heading up out of here. 516-405-2246. I'm going to get over here to the video chat, and I just want to get quickly from you guys. This is going to be, kind of your last words and, what's next. So just give it to me real quick with your last word, what's next, your last words, and then, we're going to jump up out of here. All right. And I got a video that I'm going to finish working on. A good one, too. You spend a lot of time. Well, I'll tell you guys in a minute. But anyway, Sandy. Hey, man, why don't you tell me what do you think is next for the Knicks? What do you want to see them doing next now that, the main part of the offseason is over, at least the free agency part of the offseason is over? What do you want to see next?
Well, I want to say I agree with your B. I had one question for you.
Okay.
If Durant never comes back to anywhere near the Durant we saw prior to the injury, make it a B+ or an A?
The Nets? You mean the Nets?
No, for us. We didn't even offer. We didn't even fight for him.
Well, I gave him an A anyway. You know what I'm saying? I gave him an A because.
Overall, would he get it? Would you make it an A+? Does that change things? Drafts are always about
not 2 years. It doesn't change things to me. That it doesn't change anything to me. I think my grade is based on what they did because they didn't get him. Whatever the reason was, what they did because he didn't come, and how they pivoted and made smart, prudent decisions.
I think as far as what comes now, especially for the core of young kids, I just keep seeing YouTube videos or Instagram videos, whatever, social media. I want to see that they're busting ass. I want to see that they're working hard, that whatever each one of them need to work most on, they're working on it. You know, if it's a jump shot for one, if it's passing for the other, if it's just bulking up more. I mean, clearly, whatever what Knox has been doing has been working. He looks a hell of a lot better. Same with, I mean, I would say Mitch too. Mitch put on some good strength weight.
Yeah.
So it would be great to see. I'm not saying that RJ's not in great shape to be already for a kid his age, but see RJ maybe put on a little more. I'm not saying muscle, but get more defined per se. Get a little more fit or even himself. I'd like to see them work out and just work on their game.
All right.
And I think if they spend time together, especially maybe all the young kids and maybe a couple of the guys they brought in, if they start spending time together now, that'll help build some good team chemistry. These older guys they brought in, we need them to be leaders and mentors to these kids. So I really hope we don't see anything stupid in the offseason. We don't need any stupid shit happening.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree with you there. Definitely. So, and I don't think so. I think we got some good high character guys. You
got to try to get a player on. I know you said something about you thought you could maybe get someone.
Well, we'll see. We'll see in the future. The Knicks, they keep it tight. They're pretty strict on that public relations stuff. The Knicks are. So, we'll see in the future. But hey, Sandy, man, you got some last words real quick?
As always, you're doing a great job. I'm very disappointed that the YouTube thing hasn't been worked out for you yet. I'm gonna fight for you as well on that. You do that. I like what you did tonight, though. I think that this is actually better for you, maybe in the long run. Pushing you to other social media avenues.
It may be. We had a good number of people between the three platforms. We had a good number of people on. It's unfortunate that everybody can't be in the same exact chat, but as it grows, each chat will grow and get bigger and bigger and bigger. So, hey.
Let me ask you a question, because Isaiah threw a lot of shit and blame on your family there, just playing around, obviously. But how old is your son? Maybe Isaiah and your son should play a game.
Well, my son is 25 years old, and my son would smack Isaiah to pieces. So,
well, if he's,
I mean, it is no. I'm telling you, there's just no.
So he's basically Sid Jr. in a lot better shape.
I don't know if he's in a lot better shape, but he would smack Isaiah. He would listen. My son, there's a video. I have a video. My son's at the end of practice, at the end of the game, when we were done playing, like he was knocking down shots from like 3 feet in front of half court. 4 of them in a row. His jump shot is ridiculously good, and I'm not even exactly sure where it came from. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't shoot threes like that.
Listen, you're pretty good. I was impressed with your fadeaway. So apple didn't fall far from the tree then.
I mean, but I don't shoot threes. I got to shoot off. I shoot off the dribble. He can just knock down threes. So my son would demolish Isaiah. It would be bad.
Well, I mean, Isaiah all the fake news that he was dishing out was pretty bad. He could have a job.
Yeah.
If he here's the deal. He's probably listening. If he keeps talking all this smack, next thing you're going to have to do is pick one of your prize I know you coach a couple of girls teams.
Well, my daughter can probably beat Isaiah. I can guarantee it.
I think that's the next game to have.
Yeah,
I think your daughter needs to school him. Yeah. No excuses.
She'll beat Isaiah. I mean, the next thing, yeah. Hey, Sandy, I appreciate it, man.
All right, man. I'll see you soon. We'll talk in the next show.
Talk next show, Friday night.
All right, bang. Later.
And the next thing that I'm trying to do, ladies and gentlemen, the next thing that I am trying to do, that I would like to do, is if we can get 20 people and we can all link up somewhere and we can play a couple of games. That'd be fun. Of course, we record the games. We can, if the ability is there, we stream it live. You know what I mean? But, that's exactly what I want to do. That was the goal a long time ago, is to have a charity event. And at the charity event, obviously we're raising money for a charity, but we got a bunch of people from NBK come in and we do a little tournament. Something that I still would like to do. The problem is finding the location. So if somebody is able to get a gym, preferably in an area where most Knicks fans are, which would be New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, something like that, and you have access to one, hit me up. Email me, srussell@nothingbutnicks.com. srussell@nothingbutnicks.com, and we can try to get together and maybe do something to raise some money for charity and play some basketball games. That'd be pretty fun. All right, so just hit me up and let me know. All right, Nick, I'm coming to you, Nick.
I want to propose a game between you. You said you got a granddaughter, right?
Well, my granddaughter's 2.
Yeah. That's what I mean. On like a little bouncy type rim. I bet you she will.
She probably will. Yeah, she probably will, because that's pretty bad. It'll be a competitive game.
Yeah, it'll finally be competitive. Finally.
Right.
Anyway, so look, all in all, I give the Knicks a B, solid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they did anything wrong. They didn't do everything correct. Perfect, because there is no such thing as perfect, but they set themselves up, man. And that's the big thing. You can't just, as long as you turn off the media and just look at them in a vacuum, just by themselves, we did what we were supposed to do. The team, the fans ain't gone. Some of them may have jumped to Brooklyn, but at the same time, Knicks fans are Knicks fans. They're not Brooklyn fans. Right. And it's just straight up Brooklyn, they won the battle. Now they got to win win a championship. And if they don't win a championship, then it's all for nothing. You trashed the Knicks today, but you got to win the championship now. You have to.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Coming up, I still don't think their team is as good as everyone likes to say. They gave up Rondae Hollis-Jefferson. They gave up guys, that were integral to them.
Mm-hmm.
So, they're not as strong as everyone likes to say. And then I'm listening to, I think it was Bill Simmons' podcast. They were talking about all they got to do is make the 8 seed and then wait till KD come back. Well, they should be progressing. If Kyrie should be better than D'Angelo Russell, to the point that they get to the second round,
right?
And that's successful, and then they could get KD and be a championship team,
right?
But it's not about the Nets; it's about the Knicks. I think we're fine. We're set up for a future. We got all our draft picks and then some. We got a bunch of second round draft picks coming from Charlotte, and we hit second rounders. That's a fact.
Exactly.
So
yeah,
we draft well. We keep training guys. You could see some of the work that Fizdale done with Kevin Knox. He put in the work on him. He put in the work on Emmanuel Moody, and these guys have careers going forward. Let's see what else he could do with the rest of the guys.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. I appreciate you, Nick, man. Hopefully I'll catch you on Friday.
No, I won't be on Friday, but I'll probably be on next week.
Okay. All right. Sounds good, man. Have a good weekend then.
All right, man.
All right, later. All right. And Elwood Johnson, you said, Sim, you have to defend your court now. Yeah, I got to defend it now. I'm pretty sure there's going to be another somebody else that wants to jump in there. You know, Mark says something about wanting to play. Obviously, you know, because we're not on, you know, Mark likes to be on YouTube. We're not on YouTube right now, so Mark's not in the chat, but it'll get back to him. You know, and if he wants to play, you know, we could do this one-on-one thing with Mark. I'll bust up Mark too. Nate, come to you, man.
What's up, man? So a couple of things that I want to see in the rest of the offseason. I want to see Fizdale bust out the X's and O's and start, you know, holding players accountable instead of trying to be friends with them. You know, you mentioned that earlier in the show, and I can't tell you, being a coach, man, our job is not to be the friends of the players. Our job is to direct them and show them the fundamentals of the game.
Yeah.
You know, and try to hone in what they're good at doing and try to put them in the best positions possible. And that's what Fizdale needs to do. You know, he needs to hold these players accountable. He needs to look at their strengths and weaknesses and figure out what's going to be best suited for his offense and what's going to be something he's going to have to work with. You know, I want to see that for sure. And then also, too, I think that Scott Perry, Steve Mills, Fizdale, they need to get in a room and they need to figure out what the heck are we doing with the point guard position. We cannot go into training camp with all these question marks all over again with the point guards. I think you got to go in with your guys you think are going to play point guard and then let them battle it out. But, I mean, I'm a big proponent of getting rid of DSJ. I think that you could get something for him, and I think that, you know, if we lose him, it's not going to hurt. I mean, we have other players that can play point. Kadeem Allen can play point. Ntilikina maybe can play point. You know, Payton can play point. I mean, you're not gonna be hurting if you lose DSJ, and I think you can get something out of him, out for him, if you trade him.
Well,
but they got to figure.
You know, with DSJ, I want to see if he can. The kid is talented, and he has elite talent, and that's hard to come by in the NBA. So, you know, I would like to try to see. I want to see if the coaching squad can help him develop into the player that we want, because it's just hard to come by elite talent. You know?
Right, and I agree with you wholeheartedly, but they're talking about maybe putting RJ at the point. So that tells me that they think that he might be a better point than DSJ.
Well,
I'm not hearing a lot of vote of confidence for Dennis Smith.
I think a lot is going to depend on. Listen, you know, I was listening to Dennis Smith Jr. interview, and he impressed me when he said he wants to help RJ become Rookie of the Year. You know, that's impressive, and that tells me that maybe his mindset is a little bit different than it was in the past. He's growing up, he's developing, you know, he's maturing a little bit. So, you know, I want to see what happens with him, man. I want to see. But, so
you want him to go with all the guards in training camp and just kind of figure it out during training camp?
Yep. I want to get into training camp with who we have. Let Fizdale, you know, try to work it out, you know, with who we have, and then start to put the pieces together. And then, you know, if you put some pieces together and you like what you got, then you start to make moves with the pieces that you. With the other pieces, you know, that's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that could work. I just think we have a glut of point guards, and we need to figure out what we want to do. And if we can get something for them, whether it's a Frank, whether it's a DSJ, you know, we can get an asset for them or another draft pick. Hey, I'm all for, you know, making this future even more brighter.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
all right. Well, Nate, hopefully I'll catch you on Friday, man. And
yeah, I might be on Friday. And hey, man, I saw that video, dude. You did some balling, man. I was impressed with your shot, the fadeaway. I was like, dang, man, this guy could actually try for the Knicks.
I don't know if I could try out for the Knicks, but I don't think Isaiah thought that I was going to be able to hoop like that.
Isaiah had stone feet the whole time, man. He looked like Cantor on defense.
Yeah, he was worse.
You were just going by like left and right on him,
He was worse than Cantor on defense, trust me.
It was bad.
All right, Nate, I appreciate you, man.
Have a good night, man.
All right,
later.
Peace. All right, Guillermo, it's on you, bro.
It's good, Sim. Yeah, man. Everything I agree with a lot of stuff that Nick said. earlier before. Again, what I would like to see from these guys, I'd love to see if Fizdale can get some of these guys to sit together and just not just bond, but like get what they want. Like sit them down and see where they would feel most comfortable playing. Like, and the thing I would do and the way I try to implement that is that all these little summer leagues, I try to get them in groups. You know, maybe two guys to a Harden league or two guys to this league, and try to get them to play together. Guys who will complement each other somehow, right? So you have the guards possibly playing with each other, maybe a guard with Mitch, if you want Mitch to kind of shoot a little bit more. Something to get these guys in some kind of tandem, so when they're out on the court, it's a little bit more natural versus this is the play, run it, execute it, and if you don't do it, you're going to be taken out. You know what I mean? You need some chemistry to kind of boil into the season. So, yeah, again, I like what I'm seeing, man. RJ, now they're writing articles that RJ should be put at the point, stuff that we all recommended, what we said before. So it's good to see that the Knicks possibly might be using some intelligence and some out-of-the-box thinking with some of the players, man, that might get the best out of them. But, yeah, all in all, yeah, get these guys in summer leagues, make sure the diets are good, get some of these vets to even play with some of these young kids, the Portises, get these guys to be established as the generals on the team. And I'll even set it up where I'll speak to the veterans like Portis, some of these guys, and say, hey, you know, coming into the season, I might scream at you guys, don't take it personal, but I'm going to be hard on you guys just so some of the younger guys could take heed and follow. So we can have better discipline and better chemistry on this team, stuff like that, you know. Yeah. So I hope that's what Fizz is doing. We don't have to go up and suck up to KP like we did last year in Latvia, all for that to fall in our faces. But all in all, I'm happy with what the Knicks did. And one last thing on the draft, on free agency, you know, I think we keep saying, you know, B minus. I give the Knicks a solid B plus because what we're doing is that we're looking at the other teams that are kind of being stupid. A lot of teams right now, look at what the Rockets are doing. And the Lakers, you know, they're trying to add a bunch of aging stars. What we haven't done in a long while, Sim, is take advantage of bad GMs and bad front offices. And I think that the Knicks loading up on a bunch of role players that, one, you could build your system with. Two, you can get rid of them to bring in younger guys once they develop. And three, you can sell them at a premium to teams that say all we are is 1 forward away to stopping LeBron James, or 1 forward away from stopping the Blazers, or stopping the Clippers, stopping the Warriors. We're 1 forward away from doing that. So we'll give you a low first rounder, or possibly for low first rounder or a high second rounder for a Morris or for a Bullock, or you know, he's not for it, but you know, these Portises, these guys that we brought on. And I thought the Knicks was so smart in grabbing all those guys and getting them early on. So I think people have to give props at Knicks for that, because you know the media's not going to do it. So all in all, salute to you, man. Good show, man, and hopefully I can see you here on Friday, man.
All right, man. I appreciate it, and I'll definitely be here on Friday. So, you know,
all right.
I mean, you can't do too much because you can barely walk.
Yo, come on. And yo, I just told Isaiah, for everybody in the chat, since he's talking trash, I said I'll put up 100 to play him to 15. And I'll spot him 3 when I get healthy. So
snap.
Mark that down for Isaiah.
All right. Sounds like we're going to have a bunch of basketball games going on, man.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be beautiful, man. Well, it's going to be slaughter.
Yeah, if I could find,
see you on Friday, man.
You know, if I could find a way, if you know anyone that we can get a gym, and, you know, we can get everybody from the chat in the gym, and we can, you know, have a bunch of basketball games, that'd be great. Just gotta find.
I sent you the email to my cousin. He runs, actually, I don't know if you ever heard of Indoor Hoops. Now he does like the indoor hoops at this school for the deaf, which is actually a really nice gym. And they actually fixed it. So I haven't been there since they fixed it, but he said they fixed it. So it's even nicer since I've been there. And it's I think St. Francis or LaSalle, I can't remember. I think it's St. Francis School of the Deaf. Yeah, I think St. Francis School of the Deaf in Brooklyn.
Okay.
So check out the site, and I'll talk to my cousin because he runs the indoor hoops there on Sunday and Thursday, I think. So he could probably get, and he used to know, I think he knew the principal even before that, because he used to work with Jesse Hamilton, who was a former Brooklyn senator or whatever the hell they call him, blah, blah. So he used to do events there. So he might have a double in terms of being able to get you something.
That'd be great. And, you know, we'll use it to raise funds for the school. So, you know.
Yeah. So just look up the school, St. Francis School of the Deaf.
Okay.
St. Francis School of the Deaf in Brooklyn. It's on near Franklin Avenue stop. Okay. On the 2 or 3 or 4 5.
Check it out, without a doubt.
All
right, man. Appreciate it.
All right. See you soon.
See you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining me. And I do want to let you know that there's going to be a video. It's probably going to come, you know, sometime midday tomorrow, about being an owner of the New York Knicks. I know that you spend a lot of your money, a lot of your time invested in the Knicks. So I'm gonna show you how to get a real return on that investment. All right, a real return on that investment. So, pay attention and look for that. It'll be on YouTube. Pay attention and look for that. Also, check out my website. You can become a VIP member on my website. And, with the VIP members, you get some stuff that you don't get, from YouTube or Twitch or Twitter or whatever. One of those things, probably tomorrow, there's going to be a video uploaded to my website or, for VIP members that is an uncut version of me and Isaiah playing against each other. An uncut version. So make sure you check that out. I'm putting right now, I just put it in the Twitter chat and I put it in the Twitch chat, a link to my website, so you can jump on the website and you can be a regular member. Regular members don't get the VIP member stuff, but you can be a VIP member and check that out. All right. So be on the lookout for some stuff coming out tomorrow. This video right here is going to be aired on YouTube tomorrow at 10 a.m. So if you want to get on and talk to some people in the chat, feel free to. If you do leave a super chat, I'll do a separate video that responds to your super chat. Okay, and I would definitely appreciate that. If you don't, then, it's cool. I'll be on live. I'll be on the premiere talking and everything. So it should be pretty fun. Anyway, look for a couple of videos to drop tomorrow. I'll see you guys on Friday as we discuss what's next for the New York Knicks. And listen, have a great weekend. If I don't see you on Friday, for whatever reason you can't make it on Friday, then have a good weekend. A good rest of your week and have a good weekend. I'm out, ladies and gentlemen. Deuces.